done yet.
The 2024 AFL Premiership season on radio, Sport Digital, and take us with you on the ABC Listen app. Just look for the AFL button.
Something big is coming, I know.
Far beyond their shared status as the AFL's two youngest clubs, the GWS Giants and the Gold Coast Suns have plenty to play for. And it's not just the so-called Expansion Derby or Expansion Cup, but a provisional place in the top 8 awaits today's winner. Not to be content with just one more win to equal their best record in a season, the obvious piece of history at stake for Damien Hardwick in his first year in charge at the Gold Coast Suns would be a maiden finals appearance. That's still in play for them, very much so. While the home side, the Giants, still a chance to press their top 4 claims coming off back-to-back wins. The plight of these two sides is just one more critical puzzle piece in this tight AFL competition as we get Saturday afternoon footy underway here at the Sydney Showground. Welcome to ABC Sport. Welcome to a very blustery Sydney afternoon. My name is Brett Sprigg and I'm called The Action as always alongside Daniel Garb.
G'day Spriggy, nice to be with you. Beautiful Saturday afternoon for footy and for the Expansion Cup as they like to call it. A danger game for the GWS Giants, I think. They're going for 3 in a row, but no Coniglio, no Kelly. Gold Coast Suns, as we know, desperate for that first away win of the season. And this is the first away game since the infamous Damien Hardwick press conference.
Yes.
Where he dropped the F-bomb in regards to their away form. We'll see if there's a response today. I know there's no Tuke Miller for the Suns, but it feels like a real danger game for GWS as the Giants players make their way out on the ground.
The Suns already out there warming up in their prominently blue away strip. No late changes for either side. We'll start with the Giants. Despite the eventful week at the Tribunal and the Appeals Board, Toby Bedford is free to play. Their only concern was, as you say, Stephen Coniglio, who is out with a shoulder injury. Xavier O'Halloran is the inclusion for him and is actually their sub today. So James Peatling's 3-week run of sub ends today. He's in the 22, and Xavier O'Halloran is the sub for the home side. For the Suns, they lose Braden Ainsworth to a shoulder injury, or Ben Ainsworth, as well as Alex Davies and Malcolm Roses, both suspended. They will welcome back Lockie Weller for the first time in just over 12 months. He essentially had what was almost back-to-back ACL injuries. He's played only 9 games in 2 years. He returns today, along with former skipper David Swallow and fellow veteran Alex Sexton. The sub today will be Will Graham for the Gold Coast Suns. So they are still missing a few big names. You mentioned Tuke Miller, no Jared Witts still. He's not far away. But they bring back in a total of 548 games experience today, the Gold Coast Suns, as they attempt to find their first away win of this 2024 campaign. Our experts are former Swan and Blue, Jason Saddington. G'day, Sado.
Hey, g'day, Spriggy. G'day, Garby. This really is an interesting game. I mean, two teams that are fighting for those positions in the top 4 or top 8. I mean, we've got 2 games between... was it 2nd and 13th? So it's a really big matchup for both teams, and probably the questions are, can the Suns win away from home, and can the Giants really click into that form that we think at the start of the year they should have had?
So basically today, the Giants can go as high as 2nd if they win by a bit. And for Gold Coast, as I say, that piece of history, their first top 8 finish is in play. They've had a 10-win season twice previously in 2014, 2022. So, of course, Damien Hardwick's first year in charge, they can be in the 8 if they win here this afternoon. Of course, we've seen teams not take their opportunity to finish, like Essendon last night, not clinching their spot in the top 4. They could fall outside as well, which is just extraordinary. So it's a tight season, which makes these games all the more consequential. As we welcome in the experts chair, former West Coast Eagle and Sydney Swan, Callum Sinclair. G'day, Cal.
G'day, Spriggy, Garb, Sato. Great to be with everyone this afternoon. Probably important to mention, Gold Coast plays its 300th AFL match today here in the Expansion Cup. So, tell you what, it's gone pretty quick there for the Suns. Only felt like yesterday when both these teams kind of came into the AFL, but I don't know, guys. It's going to be an interesting game. Toby Green kicked 5 goals against the Suns earlier this season. I'm looking forward to hopefully a bit of a shootout. We've got Ben King on 45 goals, and at the other end, my guy Jesse Hogan, who I think has probably made the argument the most improved player probably in the last 3 or 4 seasons. He's been absolutely outstanding this season. So hopefully we're going to have a bit of a high-scoring game today, and it's going to be crucial with the Gold Coast Suns and the amount of injuries that can't even speak. Giants have got out today. This is their one to win away from home.
Well, that is the interesting part, and I think the Giants probably haven't had their best team on the park for probably a good 8-10 weeks. You know, Kelly is out again. Canelio's been in and out. Sam Taylor's still to come back into the team. So, you know, can they find that form? Yeah, they showed a couple of weeks ago against Carlton through half a game of footy. They looked unbelievable, the Giants. But then last week against Richmond, they got the job done. You know, can they continue to get the job done without some of those key players?
One thing we're seeing a bit more of, Cal, for GWS is they are taking their opportunities a bit more, especially at home. The most accurate side inside 50 in the past month or so. So we're seeing that sort of that spearhead attack coming together a bit more for the Giants.
Absolutely. That's probably reflective of both New South Wales teams at the moment. They're absolute sharpshooters. Very difficult to come up to Sydney at the moment and play either the Giants or the Swans at the moment. Both teams have, you know, despite probably the lack of crowd here today, guys, it is a fortress for the Giants and particularly the Suns. They've got a bit of work to do, but they've also got some injuries as well, guys. I think Casbolt's out, Davies is suspended, Dave's got a foot injury, Ellis has a calf, Miller has a wrist. So there's a little bit going on for the Suns, and to be honest, if you can't win away from home, I don't know if you deserve to play finals.
No, you have to win away games.
Yeah.
You have to do that.
And you mentioned the overall history. I wasn't aware of that milestone, by the way. 300th game for the Gold Coast.
Done my research.
I've
come prepared.
A couple of milestones. Brent Neal's plays his 100th game today for the Giants, and there was also for the Gold Coast Suns. Will Powell playing his 100th game as well today. So there you go, a couple of milestones on either side. It's not as though, just speaking of the head-to-head, it's not as though the battle of the expansion teams has been close. The Giants have won 12 of the past 13 games against Gold Coast. The Suns' only win in that time was by 1 point in Ballarat 3 years ago. They most recently met, as you said, Cal, in Gather Round at Mount Barker in South Australia, just outside Adelaide. The Giants won that by 28 points back in round 4. Toby Green kicking those 5 goals that day. Tell you what, the race to 50 is in play. Charlie Curno's on 49, but as you say, with Ben King and Jesse Hogan at either end, both on 45 goals. We'll see who can make the most of their key forwards up front, especially I know that modern stadiums these days don't tend to make this as much of an issue, but the wind, it has been the most blustery day in the Harbour City. There's been all kinds of dust and debris and leaves everywhere. I know, Crimey River. But it's an otherwise beautiful day, windy day as well. We'll see if either side can make the most of those conditions going forward.
Surf would be up in Bondi, Spriggy. I'm surprised you're here.
Well, it looked okay, but surfing is absolutely not my forte. You can text us as always, 0437 774 774. This is ABC Sport. Brett Sprigg alongside Daniel Garb, Jason Staddington, Callum Sinclair. Down to Bobby Penny on the boundary very shortly. And a reminder, of course, we'll keep you across St Kilda and the West Coast Eagles at Docklands. That's the other Saturday afternoon game happening as we speak. You can find a full call of that on the ABC Listen app. Just look for the ABC AFL button. Otherwise, this is a game of serious consequence. The Giants and the Suns coming your way very shortly.
Looking forward to a couple of key battles for you, Jason Staddington and Cal Sinclair, to watch. Sam Collins on Jesse Hogan. Sam Collins is the number one intercept player in the competition. I know he doesn't get discussed, and it's the old, if he played in Victoria, he'd be spoken about differently. He has to be a massive shout for all Australian honours, considering the season he's having, to be in the conversation. I'm not saying he should necessarily be the fullback, but he should certainly be in the conversation. So his job on Jesse Hogan, and then Jack Buckley at the other end against Ben King. We saw what Jack Buckley did on this ground a couple of weeks ago up against Charlie Curnow. His role up against Ben King will be fascinating to watch. And then Ned Moyle, who, Cal, I think is a really talented player. It feels like he might get a move somewhere else. I know he signed a new contract at the Suns, but he's too good to be playing in the reserves, and the job he's got up against Kieran Briggs today I think will be a great watch for us too.
Yeah, I think Ned Moore's an interesting one. I was actually going to bring him up before, guys, but I kind of played at the back end of my career kind of walloping around in the VFL. He was kind of just starting his career. Pretty interesting story. Didn't actually get drafted from his 18 year. Went to, I think it was Old Xavier, then had to go on the Collingwood sup list there. Spent about half a season there, and then being picked up in the mid-season draft for the Gold Coast Suns. But he's dramatically improved. And, you know, I'm not one to speculate on trades and things like that. And I get it, Jared Witts is definitely the captain of the Gold Coast Suns. But I wouldn't want to lose Ned Moore if you're the Gold Coast Suns. No, Jared Witts, don't get me wrong, he's been a very serviceable player. He's definitely been huge for their culture and the leadership of their football club. But he is getting on. I think the game is slowly going away from probably Jared a little bit. But Ned Moore's got a lot of upside, a lot of footy left in him. So I think if you're the Gold Coast Suns, you'd be doing everything you can to keep him. But if you're Ned, you wouldn't want to be playing in the twos next year.
Yeah. And the other matchups you mentioned too, Garby. Sam Collins, I'm with you. Every time I watch him play, he's an unbelievable key back, intercepts, really gets beaten, reads the game so well.
Captaining the side today by the looks of it.
Yeah, absolutely.
A bit old school as well, Sado.
Yeah,
I like it.
Just a
Mick Martin.
good, tough defender. But Jesse Hogan's last couple of weeks, he's been unbelievable, like peak of his career type footy. I think even last weekend at the MCG, he stepped and he razzled and dazzled a few players at the time. He actually showed some agility. So his contested marking's been through the roof. So that is a huge battle.
The thing with Jesse Hogan, though, is he can play very high up the ground if you need him to. He's probably a little bit, I don't want to make comparisons to kind of Jeremy Cameron, but he can actually play both aspects as a forward. If you need him deep, he's very, very good one-on-one and very hard to play against. But his Nick Riewoldt style leading up there on the wing and taking contested grabs. There aren't many other forwards in the competition doing what Jesse Hogan is doing at the moment. He's reading the ball beautifully in the air. They're sitting in his hands great, and it's pretty accurate when he gets his opportunities in front of the sticks.
Should mention one other injury we forgot to mention. The Giants letting us know yesterday that Adam Kingsley tore a hammy during the week, and they were quick to suggest that he could obviously take his place in the coach's box and coach today's game, but that he can't train up a body at the gyms. Or legs at the gym, upper body only at the gym, so with the hamstrings. So there you go, Adam Kingsley. Injury concern.
No impact to his routine then. He's all upper body anyway.
Toss one by Toby Green. The Giants will kick the Olympic Stadium end to start here as we head to the boundary. Poppy Penny is there for us on ABC Sport. Poppy, good afternoon to you.
Good afternoon. You mentioned that it's windy and you weren't kidding, and the wind can't quite decide what direction it wants to go. It's swirling around. It's pretty cold too, so that's going to be a real challenge. The benches for the GWS Giants: Aaron Cadman, Lockie Ash, James Peatling and Harvey Thomas, as the tsunami warning is going off in the background. Xavier O'Halloran will start as their sub, and Alex Sexton, Lockie Weller back for his first game since that knee injury. Matt Rowell and and Connor Budrick on the bench for the Suns, and Will Graham is their sub. That tsunami warning is very loud and the wind is very strong.
Thank you, Poppy. Tip Cal, who do you like?
I think this is going to be Giants 1. They're under a fair bit of pressure. It's their game to win today.
Sado.
Giants at home.
Saturday afternoon footy on ABC Sport. Here is Daniel Garb.
Toby Bedford, after surviving the AFL appeal, is straight to Noah Anderson, so he's tagging him. Briggs and Moyle go at it. Briggs taps it down. David Swallow back into the team. He's wrapped up by Finn Callahan, who was started on the ball for the Giants. So a secondary ball up just inside the centre square. Briggs works Moyle off it. Roved well by Flanders. Kicks the Suns inside 50. Connor Iden spikes it away. Now with Himmelberg. Quick handball looking for Isaac Cumming. It evades him. We'll have a boundary throw in just outside 50. Left half forward for the Suns.
And your other matchups were spot on, Garby. It's Buckley on King and Collins on Hogan.
Inside the opening 60 seconds here at the Sydney Showground. Beautiful sunny day, if a little windy. The crowd still coming in. Briggs outbodies Moyle. Both rucks missed it though in the end. Flanders missed the hand pass. It comes to Mac Andrew eventually. Puts the Suns inside forward 50. Skids wide there of Walter. Mopped up in defence by Buckley. The Giants are away. A high kick beyond defensive 50. And in fact, it's going to be out of bounds on the full, as it was marked by Closey over the boundary line anyway. So it's going to be a Suns ball from left half forward. Loads up here inside 50 for the visitors. Out to a 2-on-2. Buckley up in front, intercepts for the Giants at fullback, and still no score 90 seconds in.
I'll take that back, Garby. Collins actually gone to Riccardi now.
Yep, and Ballard is on Jesse Hogan. So that's an interesting matchup choice from Damien Hardwick. Here's Harry Perryman, yet to sign a new deal with the Giants. Goes to left half back. Yeah, plenty of clubs after him. They're struggling to hang on to him at the moment. Suns win it back at right half forward. Humphrey, handball to Flanders, goes wide up and finds Closey. Pokes it inside forward for Ben King on a lead. Out in front of Buckley. Got some separation on him, and he'll kick from 25 out. Slight angle to the right. The Suns have started really well.
Didn't see that one, Sado, but tell you what, Buckley gave Ben King a fair bit of room there to just have a nice little run and jumper. Don't get me wrong, it's a great kick going inside 50, but it would be interesting to see that replay. I think he had a fair bit of space there leading into that.
So Ben King, what a season he's having. 45 goals to his name to go outright second in the Coleman medal race now. That is not a good effort. Perhaps the wind is having an impact.
Oh, wow.
Jed Walter's taken the mark, and that was right on the line. and the umpire has paid it. So the ordinary kick from Ben King, marked by his key forward partner in Jed Walter.
Can you review those? No.
The number 3 draft pick from last year's draft will snap from 10 metres out, close up on the boundary. Skinny sided is missed, through for a behind. And the first score of the game, the Suns are 1 behind, Giants yet to score.
Underway at Docklands, by the way. The Saints 1 behind, West Coast yet to score.
That's what makes goal kicking difficult today, Cal. Not just that the wind's going to take the ball in the air, but the actual drop of the ball from hand to foot. If the wind's blustery, it can really knock that ball about before you actually make contact.
Whitfield plays on here beyond defensive 50 for the Giants. Mac Andrew intercepts at left half forward here, just forward of the wing. What a year he's having.
Yeah, well, he was nearly best on last time at Mount Barker.
Goes inside 50. Wasn't the best kick, but it'll work out okay here. Down there for Johnston. Pops it inside 50. Leading up down there again, Lukosius. Tom Green mops up for the Giants. Through hands, Callahan to Iden. Narrow way through Bedford. Fires the hand pass wide again. Whitfield sends his kick up the line, but again it's marked, this time by Will Powell in his 100th game for the Suns. So it's still just Gold Coast 1 behind. Giants yet to score. 4 gone to the opening term on ABC Sport.
And the Suns are dominating early. Giants under serious pressure as Will Powell kicks Gold Coast deep inside 50 off hands. Finn Callahan is there, missed it. Gathered by Swallow. Handball to Ben Long. Bouncing ball. Jack Buckley sees it through for a behind. Unlucky not to have a goal on the ball the way they're playing at the moment. Gold Coast, they had 2 behinds. GWS yet to score and struggling to take the ball past halfway.
Probably just their disposal, Garb. They just can't really get an effective kick or a disposal over halfway. And to be honest, the Gold Coast are actually setting up not too bad behind the ball.
Himmelberg, short chip kick from the kick out to find Buckley. Bit of news around Jack Buckley during the week and his potential request to go and see his partner compete in the Olympics and the hurdling.
Adam Kingsley said he actually has no desire to go. It was all a beat up.
It's all a beat up, so yeah, a bit of news about that. But Iden now marks, so they switch back to the members' side here at the Sydney Showground. The Giants in possession, up towards a pack. Riccardi, the ball's a little too deep for him. Thomas out the back though. Here's goal side now with Daniels. He's unguarded 45 from goal. He can close and finish. It's the Giants who go coast to coast. In his 100th game, Brent Daniels. He is the game's first goal scorer. 1 straight 6, the Giants. The Gold Coast Suns are 2 behinds. 5 minutes played in the opening term. Saturday afternoon footy on ABC Sport. Jason Saddington and Callum Sinclair.
Terrific finish there by Daniels. I think you'd be a little bit disappointed if you were Sam Collins, also Ned Moyle as well. Not bringing that ball to the front. Just got out the back there a little bit, but not a bad contest there from Riccardi. But that's probably what the Giants want there, Sato. They want, you can just tell they want speed on the ball. They want the ball to kind of play a little bit of territory, whereas probably the Suns are playing a little bit more kind of long down the line game at the moment, but Daniels, great find for them.
Oh, absolutely, and that's a challenge for the Suns. I mean, the Giants' small forwards of, Thomas, Daniels, who kicked the goal, and obviously Darcy Jones. It's like rats in the kitchen. You don't know which one to try and get and stop, do you?
Inside 50, 6 to Gold Coast, 1 to GWS, but GWS have the first goal of the game through Brent Daniels, the milestone man. And they've won a free kick in the middle here to Peatling. Quick handball to Tom Green, so they go into attack again. Collins comes out to meet it. Yeah. He was pushed in the back by Riccardi. He had front position. So Sam Collins wins the free kick in defensive 50 for Gold Coast. Goes short to Hewland. A true centre half back. No one stands the mark, so he'll play on and kick to left half forward. Ned Moyle makes a contest. It's gathered by Walter. On his left, just throws it on the boot. Didn't really have a look. It'll favour Connor Iden, who has support in the form of Whitfield in defensive 50. The handball to Peatling, and now Perryman. The long raking handball to Harvey Thomas. Put him under some pressure. Connor Buderick wraps him up. We'll have a ball up just forward of the wing for Gold Coast.
Meanwhile at Docklands, St Kilda 1-8. West Coast yet to score. Early stages first term there as the ball finds its way out of bounds here at the Showground.
I reckon you're right, Cal. A couple of different styles in the first. I know it's still early, but the Giants is more that run and forward handball. The Suns is a bit more kick type play.
The Shadows, the members stand here at the Showground. The umpire throws it back in. Briggs and Moyle the rucks. Briggs palms it down there. Closey there first though for Gold Coast. Overcooked the hand pass here for Buderick. Wrapped up in the tackle down there at Bedford. Footy comes loose. Flanders out after it, so too Rowell. Daniels tackles him and the umpire says give it to me for a ball up. On the wing members side, it's the Giants who are 1 straight 6. Gold Coast 2 behind. 7.5 played in the opening term on ABC Sport.
Briggs just slaps it down to Callahan, who has a very handy handball over his shoulder to Tom Green. He gave it to Perryman. He's got a man inside 50 that he likes in the form of McMullen. It's Knocked away from him. Callan Ward is first to arrive at left half forward, just outside 50. McMullen now gives him some support. Handball back to Fonte. He got the hands free to just handball it inside 50. And in the end, Callan Ward wraps up. Nick Holman will have a boundary throw in just inside 50 for the Giants, who are 1 straight 6. Gold Coast 2 behinds. Brent Daniels in his 100th game, the only goal kicker.
Back in it comes Moylan Briggs. And Moyle spent it before he had it. Socket forward by Tom Green. Ward there for the Giants. Shares it with Fonte in his 3rd game. Hand pass comes loose. It missed Peatling. Mopped up there by Weller off half back for the Suns. And they're away here. Hand pass comes from Flanders. Weller a little slow to it. Whitfield then up by half back for the Giants. And now Perryman can set it out to the outer wing. Again for the former skipper in Cal Ward.
They've got some space here, the Giants. Ward goes inboard to Tom Green. Just pokes it forward 15 to Brent Daniels, the number 1 goal assist player in the competition. Assesses his options, goes inside 50. Well done, Ballard. Got in front of Jesse Hogan, Charlie Ballard, and took the mark. It was touched, though, off hands, so Ballard was wrapped up. We'll have a ball up inside 50 for GWS.
Umpire wastes no time. Merle to the front. Kick was smothered. Briggs follows up closely with a tackle. Butterick there as well. Comes through hands. Back to Anderson. Mac Andrew delivers wide by hand to Sexton. One of their inclusions this week for the Gold Coast Suns. Kicks back to the wing where it's marked by Lukosius. Suns can surge their way forward, looking for their first goal of the game, 9 minutes in. Lukosius called to play on. Now comes slightly inboard to find Rao. Slow build up here for the Suns. His kick a little too deep inside, forward 50. Ward has Briggs in support, left behind there for McMullen. Off the deck here to Tom Green. The Giants are away off half back through Callaghan.
Callaghan tucks it under his arm and gets moving. They love that sight, the Giants. The 1-2 with Bedford. Now he has a bounce, Finn Callaghan. And a second bounce from 55. Eyes up the goals and then just decides to centre it.
That's happened a few times.
And goes straight to Sam Collins. Had to have a shot there, Finn Callaghan. Turned it over. It was great seeing him run with the ball.
Thought he was Michael Long there for a second.
Sorry, Cubs. That happened a few times with the Giants. Just lacking a little bit of structure going inside 50.
It was all set up for one of the goals of the season contenders.
Suns ship the footy around here. Will Powell on the wing in his 100th game. They've tried to build this game up a little bit here. It is famously a pretty low-drawing game that the Giants beat the Suns. So they had a few activations pre-game. Bluey, the kids' TV star, making an appearance. The Suns go inside 50. A strong contested grab down there from Ben Long. And he'll take his set shot from 12, make it 20 metres out, deep in the left forward pocket.
So I think both sides are probably... Suns have probably been very sloppy, probably by hand. Sato probably going in transition, but the Giants at the moment just seem to just struggle with some structure kind of going inside 50. They seem a little bit disorganised with their leading patterns. They've had their opportunities though.
Ben Long lining up here for his 50th career goal for what it's worth, and he makes no mistake. It's the Gold Coast's first major of the day, despite some early possession going their way. They now have the lead. 1-2-8. The Giants who are 1 straight 6. 11 gone to the opening term. Saturday afternoon footy on ABC Sport. Meanwhile at Docklands, midway through the opening term there, secured a 1-3-9. West Coast yet to score.
It was probably the first entry that Gold Coast had where they had a one-on-one. They've been pushing one of their forwards high in general play, and that's why I think they've had to go slow a few times and just kick and wait, because Perryman or Iden are rolling off and getting spare behind the ball. But that time they had even numbers. Perryman was caught one-on-one. He's normally a very good one-on-one player, but Ben Long, that's a fantastic contested mark. That one-on-one entry actually helped Gold Coast on that occasion.
That's the 50th goal of Ben Long's career, and one that the Gold Coast deserved based on the balance of play in this first term. They are 1-2-8. GWS 1 straight 6. 11 and a half minutes gone at the showground. Knocked away from David Swallow, but he was infringed upon according to the umpire. The free kicks against Toby Bedford, who's had one of the more eventful weeks in regards to tribunal discussion. But he's free to play as Swallow goes short to Sam Flanders. He has it in the centre circles, gives it back to David Swallow. It's barely 15. He's taken the mark. Giants back in numbers. Swallow goes long inside 50. Underneath it is Walter. It's punched away from him. Long is there. And he's tackled by Joe Fonte, Callan Ward and Connor Ryden. Ball up inside 50 for Gold Coast.
They lead by 2 points, the Suns. Up in the air it goes. Walter contests the ruck with Riccardi. Tunnels out towards Rowell. Hand pass releasing Flanders. Missed him. They snap on goal here, the Suns. It's missing across out of bounds on the full off the boot of Closey. So it wasn't Closey on that occasion from the man who actually debuted against the Giants back in Gather Round. It still remains here. Gold Coast 1-2-8. The Giants 1 straight 6. 13 gone to the opening term.
That was impressive, Spriggy. Closey wasn't
Just
close.
warming up,
That
Sato.
was good.
Buckley with the kick that exits defensive 50 for the Suns. Darcy Jones is there. His first possession of the game is a looping handball looking for Callan Ward, but he's under pressure. Great second effort from Callan Ward to wrap up the Sun there and just lock it up on the wing. And now that allows Jones to win it at ground level to Toby Green, and then Riccardi. He's well tackled. The pressure's on now. They fight for it on the wing. Green turns it over. Gold Coast win it back, bouncing ball over the head of Flanders. We'll have a boundary throw in, but there's a nice second effort from Callan Ward, though. He's in some really good form at 34 years of age. So evergreen.
Yeah, isn't
Playing
he?
some really good footy at the moment.
Surely he plays on.
He said if they win the premiership, he's retiring.
Okay.
So if they don't, he'll probably go on for one more in search of that.
Suns by 2 points here early on. Umpire tosses it back in. Riccardi up in front of Walter. Out in space on the outer side. Walter, though, tracks Daniels towards the football. And now the hand pass comes from Butterick back to Flanders. Tumbling kick towards 50 here for Gold Coast. Picked off half back, though, by Fonte. Little 1-2 ball now. Iden shares it with Lockie Ash. They'll switch. He just tucks the ball into the arm and now brings it back towards the members' side, where it's out of bounds on the full, I reckon. No, it's going to be marked by Isaac Cumming. So they paid a couple of those today, those quite dubious marks over the boundary line, but Isaac Cumming here, it works out okay for the Giants. He comes back in board to find Lockie Ash.
Ash at right half back. Ash, Whitfield and Fonte all in the team to give the Giants plenty of dash out of defence. He goes short to Perryman, and now Isaac Cumming. It's another Giant yet to re-sign for next year. Another one they're struggling to keep hold of amid plenty of interest.
Would you say he's Isaac going?
Very good.
Hey.
Coming to half forward, but that wasn't the best kick of his career, and Will Power in his 100th game just
We're
cuts
better than
across
that
that contest and marks.
Just trying to keep the Expansion Cup lively, Sam.
That's all for it.
Mac Andrew will switch across to the outer side here. Suns keep a 2-point lead here. 1-2 plays one straight. Picked up under pressure here. Ballard. Great chase it was. It comes back to Darcy Jones. Got it from Hogan. Jones can close and finish as well. His second touch is a goal. But it was great work from Jesse Hogan. The chase and tackle on Charlie Ballard to result in the Giants' second goal, and the lead swinging back their way again. 2 straight 12. The Suns to a 1-2-8. 15 gone first term. ABC Sport, your experts are Callum Sinclair and Jason Saddington.
And that's what you want to see from your key forwards there, Sato. Probably hasn't been the greatest start for Jesse Hogan. He's had some pretty ordinary entries. They seem a little bit disorganised with their leading patterns at the Giants end of the ground. But to put that aside and just laid that forward 50 pressure, really setting the example for his smaller fellas up forward, and great finish there by the Giants forward line.
I think, Garby, you used the word evergreen about Cal Ward a few minutes ago. Jesse Hogan's the same. I mean, for him to be chasing and tackling in that
Huge
forward 50, that's not something he's known for. So he is evergreen at the moment as well.
Darcy Jones keeps up his goal-a-game average, 7 in 7.
If
As
there was a share
Peatling
price.
Peatling wins a free kick in the middle of the ground. Goes short to Callahan, but closing in on him was Lloyd Johnston. He's caught holding the ball. Didn't see him coming from the other direction. Callahan, they play on quickly. Jeffrey goes inside 50, looking for Ben King. Ugly kick, bounces in front of him. Swallow gathers it though. His handball goes straight to Kieran Briggs. With the second effort, he tries to clear defensive 50. Straight into Noah Anderson though. Toe pokes it forward. Buckley's there, gathers, kicks to the wing, looking for Cadman. He clean bowls Cadman and Collins, and then sits up nicely for Cadman on the second effort. Gathers it, handball into Brent Daniels, at centre half forward now, weighs up his options, vacant goal square, looking for his second, it bounces through! When it's your day, and it's Brent Daniels' milestone day. He's got 2 in the first term in his 100th, that one from long range, and it just bounced through an open goal square.
That's what's causing the danger for Gold Coast and is really opening up for the Giants at the moment. Their forward handball and players like Daniels and Darcy Jones, who have got speed, they're getting up high, but they're also getting free in the corridor. Once they can get that first handball out, they've got free players through the corridor. It was Daniels that time, had so much space, he was able to run, take a bounce and then kick the goal from 50 without any pressure on him. It's it's the Will Rowe for Gold Coast, is how they're going to handle these small forwards. Brent Daniels has been huge already. Darcy Jones kicked a goal. They're going to have to play tighter on those two.
Jason Saddington on ABC Sport. Round the grounds to Docklands. St Kilda 3-3-21 leads West Coast, yet to score. Time on in the opening term there, as it is here in Sydney, or in fact near enough. It's not quite time on. 18 gone in the opening term here. A free kick goes Matt Rowell's way on resumption in the middle. So Rowell loads up here, deep inside 50 for the Suns. Wanting to sit up there is Walter. Comes into the pocket now, where it's socketed by Long over for a deliberate, in fact, is the call. So it's going to be here a Giants ball. So Ben Long pinged for deliberate, and it will be out there with Cal Ward in the left back pocket. The Giants lead by 10 points. 18 gone the opening term.
He was going the other way, as in not towards his own goals, but that doesn't mean it wasn't an insufficient attempt to keep it in from Ben Long. Long kick up to the wing. Giants lead by 10 points. Free kick to Ballard of Gold Coast. Guides it forward to Sexton. Handball forward to Rao. 55 out from goal. Gets on his left. High ball. Underneath it is Buckley and Ben King. It bounces in front of them and through for a behind. So Gold Coast are 139. The Giants 3 straight 18. They have been efficient, the home side, in this first term.
I'd hate to be having a set shot down this end of the ground, Gold Coast. Those goal posts are absolutely blowing about in the breeze.
Well, West Coast have kicked the goal at Docklands, so it's 15 points. The Saints lead. Time on the opening term there. The other Saturday afternoon game on ABC Sport. Up it goes beyond offensive 50. Cadman, a towering grab at right half back here for the Giants.
Great to see from Cadman. Run and jump at the footy. It's what they drafted him for. Bred his confidence up.
Took on the more experienced Collins. And Cadman just has a career best of 3 goals, which was earlier this year against the Eagles. Thumps it here up the members' side. Wide down there looking for Briggs. Competes at ground level. Takes on Yulin. Shares it with Jones. The kid with the lid pops it inside 50 and Jesse Hogan receives it. He'll kick from 30 out. Slight angle right of centre. An opportunity here. The first of the day for Jesse Hogan.
Probably had a little bit of luck there, Sutto, on that one. But
he did with the kick.
Yeah, I think what's happening with the Suns is they're getting exposed with that corridor handball from the Giants. The Giants just seem like every single time, whenever they get the ball, their body just turns corridor and it just seems like they've got a runner. Even in that one with Kieran Briggs there, I know it was probably a little bit abrupt releasing the footy, but he knew someone was on that corridor side.
Jesse Hogan for outright second in the Coleman here. His 46th goal of the year. His started approach on its way, makes the goal umpire work, but just sneaks it through. The Giants have their 4 straight 24 the home side. The Gold Coast Suns are 1-3 on. We've just hit time on the opening term on Saturday afternoon footy on ABC Sport. Your experts, Jason Saddington and Callum Sinclair.
And the fact that Darcy Jones was actually free, I know the kick that he put into Hogan was just to throw it on the boot kick that Hogan was lucky to take the mark, but Darcy Jones at that crumb was free on his own. There was no one putting pressure on him. It's a dangerous play from the Suns to let Daniels and Jones have some space. So I think they've got to close check those two because they're causing the danger up forward.
And I think their opponents are getting sucked into the contest just for a little split second, as I made before. When that corridor handball comes, it's exposing the entire defence. So you'd be very frustrated if you're a Gold Coast defender at the moment.
Giants by 15 points, 21 minutes into the first term. Briggs palms it down. He's doing well in the ruck, opposed to Moyle at the moment, but the handball goes to Moyle now. He throws it on the boot. Bouncing ball inside 50. Ash doesn't take it cleanly. Walter gathers. Well done by Whitfield to tackle Lockie Weller as he was ready to cruise through on goal. Weller with the second effort gets hands on the football. He's wrapped up by Tom Green. Nice to see Lockie Weller back in the Gold Coast side. So it's his first game since round 17 last year after he did his ACL.
It's 9 games in 2 years, former Docker. Down it comes here. Tom Green wrapped up. The umpire balled up. Essentially back-to-back knee injuries with just that 9 games early last year, as you mentioned, Galby. Swallow reaching for it here on resumption. Rowell tries to soccer it away. Out over the football, picks up here does Rowell. Hand pass comes from Sexton. Rowell involved again. Also Humphrey and now Johnson on the flank. Keeps it alive here for Weller. In fact, no, he doesn't. It'll go out of bounds for a throw-in right on the junction of 50. Giants lead here by 15 points in a very windy Saturday afternoon in Sydney. 4 straight 24, 1-3-9 the Gold Coast. 22 gone to the opening term here on ABC Sport.
Moyle and Briggs. Briggs just knocks him off the football way too easily down to Darcy Jones, but he's well tackled. So a ball up just outside 50 for Gold Coast. Oscar Allen's kick one for West Coast. St Kilda 3-3-21. The Eagles 2 straight 12 at Docklands. Here at the Showground Stadium, it's GWS by 15 points as we get close to quarter time. Another ball up, just outside 50 for the Suns. Moyle knocks it down. Tom Green gets hands to it. He's been really busy in the first term as the Giants bull. Well done by Callaghan to win it at ground level. In the 1-2 between McMullen and Tom Green. Forward by Green to Darcy Jones. In the helmet, he has a bounce. Loses the handle though. He's able to regather. Gets it to Hogan. A snap towards goal. Cadman missed the mark. Daniels is there. Gives it straight to Collins though. Now Holman, and the Suns can rebound.
Hand pass comes here. Back to Flanders. Wrapped up down there was Joel Jeffrey. Footy comes loose. Giants want ball. Umpire says let's ball it up. 35 out from the Giants attacking goal. They've kicked the 4 goals in the game so far. The Gold Coast Suns 1. Moyle just thumps it away. Picked up here by Bedford. Now Cumming kicks up in the air in hope, I think, and it goes out of bounds on the full. Not sure if the wind carried it there into about row 6 in the end off the boot of Isaac Cumming, but it's back here with the Gold Coast Suns in their defensive zone. 4 straight 24 the Giants, 1-3-9 Gold Coast, 24 gone in the opening term on ABC Sport.
The Suns used up their get out of jail free card on that last play. I think the Giants really should have kicked the goal.
Ballard, high ball to the wing. Briggs knocks it down. Swallow is there. Can't get clean hands to it. About 4 or 5 bodies fall on him.
Hey, Poppy, question to you. Lovely day here. Any reason why we have these brand new LED lights on at this particular point of the day?
It is really bright and they are glaring straight into my head. I don't think that we need them. They are straight into my eyes. Maybe on this side of the ground, it's quite dark in the shadows, but where the ball is now, absolutely not.
No.
Bouncing ball outside 50 for the Suns. Well done by Sexton to tap it to Rao. Kick over the top is marked by Lukosius. Well, that was slick from the Suns. Clever kick from Matt Rao to put it over the back of Himmelberg and Lukosius. Lukosius ran onto it, and Tuke Miller, the co-captain, who's sitting in the box next to us, just slamming the desk on that play, enjoyed it from his team.
Well, they finally got some free air to actually get some space getting out of the stoppage or the contest, and then Lukosius just had space over the back. It's the first time they've been able to transition quickly into their forward 50.
Jack Lukosius from 10 metres out, slight angle to the right. Shouldn't be a problem for a player of his quality. Makes the goal umpire work with a bit of wind about. But it is his 20th goal of the season and Gold Coast second of the game. They are 2-3-15. GWS 4 straight 24. We've gone 25 minutes in the first term.
He'd be definitely one of the more improved players in the competition over the last few seasons, Lukosius, and just that passage of play there, Sato, it just seems like the Suns have done what the Giants did to them probably for the first 15 minutes. A bit more speed on the ball, try and get Giants exposed out the back, and it paid off.
Poppy on the boundary.
It's one thing with that breeze, that is making the cheer squad's job really easy. All they have to do is hold those giant flags up and they are blowing. They're having trouble getting the Gold Coast flag to come down now. They're so strong, but it is making their life a bit easier.
I noticed the banners were okay. I was worried that the banners might have been blown away and end up on the Bondi sand. 9 points is the Giants' lead here, and late in this opening term. Saturday afternoon footy on ABC Sport. Restart back in the middle. Briggs and Moyle, either right got there. Swallow competes with Bedford, peeling the hand pass to Tom Green. The Giants win the clearance. Hurried ball towards half forward. Toby Green crashes the pack late. Umpire lets them play. Numbers in defence here with Gold Coast. Butterick lost it. Cumming goes inside forward 50 for Daniels. Slips one tackle. Fires the hand pass back here for Bedford. He's got Briggs by himself 40 out. He centres back to the pocket to find Hogan. He was quite central himself, but saw Hogan on that lead. Leading out in the contest from McAndrew, and Jesse Hogan will have a shot here from 35 out on a 45-degree angle.
Well, Brent Daniels again involved in the play. He's been huge through this quarter, either winning the footy or just getting free in space once again. Callum sounded like a broken record on this one, but gee, he's just had so much time to impact that contest, get it across to Bedford, to Briggs, and then great vision to see Hogan.
Already has won the Savo, Jesse Hogan. He crosses the 50, tougher angle this time, starts it right, brings it back beautifully. Jesse's got too early. The Giants extend their lead out to 15. They're 5 straight 30, Gold Coast 2-3-15, 27 gone in the opening term. It's Saturday afternoon footy on ABC Sport.
I think the hard bit is that these small defenders from the Gold Coast Suns are getting sucked into the football, and guys like Daniels, even Bedford a few times, they're just getting out the back, and they're just not playing accountable enough, the Gold Coast Suns. And it's just this corridor disposal that the Giants are using, Sato, at the moment, that's just really exposing the Gold Coast Suns defenders. So I don't know what the case is here. Whether you're Damien Hardwick, you'd be looking to your midfield saying, stop ball watching and actually guard the corridor, because every single time they're looking to dispose of it and get a run.
Noah Anderson, just 3 disposals in the first term. Toby Bedford tagging him beautifully in the first quarter of this game. Moyle does well to win that, opposed to Briggs, who has had a fair impact in the first term. Lockie Ash punches it away from halfback, sits up nicely for Swallow, got the hands free, and the handball to Holman on the wing. He's well tackled by Peatling. We'll have a ball up. It is GWS 5 straight 30, Gold Coast 2-3-15. We've gone 28 minutes in the first term. Saturday afternoon footy on ABC Sport.
Up it goes. Briggs outbodies Moyle. Coming there for the Giants. Tries to work it away. He's wrapped up by Humphrey. The ball up again.
So to give an idea of the impact, Daniels had 5 touches, so has Jones. Daniels had 3 score involvements for 2 goals, and Jones had 2 score involvements, also kicked a goal himself.
Moyle wins the tap this time. Peatling tries to shepherd Flanders. Closey out to beat the football here for the Gold Coast, and the umpire again will board up. Meanwhile, in Melbourne, St Kilda 3-3-21 leads West Coast 2 straight 12. Giants lead by 15 points here in Sydney. Anderson gets boot to it. Humphrey taps it towards 50. Whitfield back there for the Giants. Fires the hand pass low to Cumming. Little 1-2 punch. Back to on a Whitfield. They're away here through Tom Green.
Tom Green lost the handle on it though. Punched it forward. They've still got it through Daniels. Quick handball to Bedford. Cruising through on goal. 42 out. Absolutely shanks the kick. One of the worst efforts you'll see when it comes to a kick on goal. It almost set up for Toby Green. Gold Coast have gathered it though. Will Power the 1-2 at right half back with Collins, and now Flanders. Another disposal for him. He's turned it over though to Tom Green. Oh, it was set up beautifully for Bedford. That effort was shocking. The Giants have it back though in the middle of the ground.
Tom Green, 37 touches last week against the Tigers. Goes indoor to find Briggs, and now Whitfield closer to home. Played on, step of his mark, so the umpire says play on. High ball inside 50. Hogan reaching. Toby Green copped a shove. Holman mops up there for the Suns. Shares it with Butterick, and the visitors here are away off half-back.
Butterick doesn't have too much on, so has to kick to a contest. It was clever though to favour Lukosius, who just guided it down to Ben King. He's almost lost the handle on the bounce. Eventually gathers it. Tight angle, 40 out. Ben King misses everything. I wonder if the wind is actually affecting the bounces at the moment, because we've seen players from both teams have failed to gather it when bouncing the football.
It's clearly affecting the ball drop too. Toby Bedford nearly missed the footy, and then King there, running in from a bit of an angle, but put it out in the full.
Tick past the half-hour mark here at the Sydney Showground. Himmelberg drives it long beyond offensive 50. Collins goes a punch from behind. At the drop, Holman back to Flanders. He was pushed off the kick. It'll go inside 50 here where Buckley can spoil. It's over for a throw-in once more.
They're just looking sloppy, the Gold Coast Suns. They probably got a little bit lucky a few times with some ones out the back, but particularly by hand as well. They just seem to can't get an effective disposal, a clear bit of play, but
it's harder work for them, isn't it?
Absolutely.
Giants lead by 15.
Sam Flanders, 12 disposals in the first term. Tom Green with 10. Moyle knocks it forward to the advantage of Ben Long, but the wind just takes it all the way through for a behind. So Gold Coast at 2-4-16. GWS 5 straight 30. I'm not sure that score actually tells the full story of this first quarter. The Suns have certainly had plenty of chances. GWS have just been really efficient.
Midfield to Perryman. Sends them long beyond offensive 50. Buckley in the contest with Walter. The defender goes to gather. Needs some support there in the form of McMullen. Almost wins it away here, but it's going to be a ball up on the outer side of the showground. The Giants by 14, as Daniel Gard mentioned. Rucks go to it. Briggs and Moyle. Daniels kicked the first goal of the game, his 100th. Tumbles his kick up the line here. Toby Green outnumbered, and it's spoiled by Yulan over for a throw-in on the outer side.
It's been great seeing 2 young, you could call them bulls or rams of the game, Tom Green and Matt Rowell. Not going head-to-head in terms of matchups, but both inside footy winners. Green with the 10 touches, Rowell with the 7 in the first quarter.
Anderson struggling though on 4. Bedford tagging him well as the quarter-time siren goes. GWS 5 straight 30. Accurate in front of goal. Gold Coast the opposite, 2-4-16. It's been an entertaining first term from the Showground Stadium. GWS lead by 14 points.
In which Jesse Hogan has kicked 2 and Brent Daniels also with a couple of goals in that opening quarter. Darcy Jones has the other for the Giants. Meanwhile, for the Suns, 2 goal kickers, 1 each to Ben Long and to Jack Lukosius. It's the Giants by 14 points at the first change. This is Saturday afternoon footy on ABC Sport.
So what's the most entertaining thing about sport?
All the stuff that goes on beyond the final whistle, of course.
Correct.
In a brand new show, Tony Armstrong and Catherine Murphy go deep into the weekend's biggest stories with special guests and self-confessed fanatics.
Join us for the weekend that was in sport.
Heads up for Monday's Experts.
That's us, Tony.
Of course it is.
I knew that.
Monday's Experts, 9:35 Monday nights on ABC TV and streaming on ABC iView.
This is ABC Sports coverage of the 2024 AFL season. Every match on the ABC Listen app.
Look for the AFL button.
Toby Bedford, after surviving the AFL appeal, is straight to Noah Anderson, so he's tagging him.
Thomas out the back though. Here's goal side now with Daniels. He's unguarded 45 from goal. He can close and finish. It's the Giants who go coast to coast. In his 100th game, Brent Daniels, he is the game's first goal scorer. The Suns go inside 50. A strong contested grab down there from Ben Long. And he'll take his set shot. Ben Long lining up here for his 50th career goal for what it's worth, and he makes no mistake. It's the Gold Coast's first major of the day. Despite some early possession going their way, they now have the lead. Picked up the pressure here, Ballard. Great chase it was. It comes back to Darcy Jones. Got it from Hogan. Jones can close and finish as well. His second touch is a goal, but it was great work from Jesse Hogan. The chase and tackle on Charlie Ballard to result in the Giants' second goal.
Sits up nicely for Captain on the second effort. Gathers it. Handball into Brent Daniels. That centre half forward now. Weighs up his options. Vacant goal square. Looking for his second. It bounces through. When it's your day, it's your day. And it's Brent Daniels' milestone day. He's got 2 in the first term and his 100th.
Briggs competes at ground level, takes on Yulin, shares it with Jones. The kid with the lid pops it inside 50 and Jesse Hogan receives it. Jesse Hogan for outright second in the Coleman here. His 46th goal of the year. His started approach on its way, makes the goal umpire work, but just sneaks it through. The Giants have their 4th. Bedford, he's got Briggs by himself, 40 out. He centres back to the pocket to find Hogan. Jesse Hogan, he crosses the 50, tougher angle this time, starts it right, brings it back beautifully. Jesse's got 2 early.
The 2024 AFL Premiership season.
On your radio.
ABC Sport Digital.
And on the ABC Listen app.
The Giants playing for a place in the top 4. The Gold Coast Suns for a place in the 8. This is Saturday afternoon footy at the Sydney Showground. And it's the Giants who lead the Suns by 14 points at the first change. Brett Sprigg alongside Daniel Garb. Your experts are Jason Saddington and Callum Sinclair. Poppy Penny on the boundary. Meanwhile at Docklands, underway in the second term there. St Kilda leads West Coast 3-3 to 2 straight. You can find a full call of that game on the ABC Listen app. Just look for the ABC AFL button. We'll keep you across how that game pans out. The game running concurrently with this one here on ABC Sport. Cal, Sado, your impressions on the opening half hour here in Sydney?
I think first quarter was just the Giants way more efficient with their ball movement. Probably 2 different styles of game happening. Cal, you called it through the quarter. The Giants been able to get their forward handball going, but certainly handball into the corridor where they got runners has certainly opened up the game and exposed the Suns. And then the forwards of Daniels and Jones are just getting free, and they're getting free run at the footy to be able to send the ball inside 50, where Hogan's been able to capitalise, take a couple of marks, kick a couple of goals. Their ball movement's really working, whereas the Suns find it a bit more difficult. They've had enough ball going inside 50, but it's been a bit more clunky. It's been slower. It's been more kick play. And they've really struggled to have some great opportunities to hit the scoreboard as opposed to the Giants, who are quite efficient.
Well, I think the scoreboard could probably be a bit worse than what it is now. What are they? 14 points, but there's probably 2 or 3 more occasions, Saturday, where Giants looked awesome going inside 50, and they just lost their structure a few times, and there's obviously a couple of bad kicks. But just looking at the numbers around the ground, like particularly The stoppage numbers, Giants in the hit-outs are leading 14-8, but over the ground, in terms of stoppages, clearances 14-7 in favour of the Suns, so it's not really a stoppage issue. I think the biggest issue is for the Suns is just their work in defensive transition. If you're Damien Hardwick, I'd be pretty surprised if he didn't make the comment at half-time that do not let them turn inboard, particularly with their hands, because if this team is kind of trying to put themselves in contention for finals, they'll get absolutely exposed if they allow a finals team, particularly a top 4 team like the Giants today. But imagine allowing the Sydney Swans to go corridor at the moment. So they've got a little bit of work to do defensively. Stoppages, they're going okay. Ned Moyle probably needs to just change up his strategy against Kieran Briggs at the minute. He's kind of getting convincingly beaten in the hit-outs, but his midfielders in Rao and Anderson are kind of keeping him together.
A few more numbers to quarter time, Garby.
So Sam Flanders with the 12 disposals, Rao with 7 and 4 inside 50s. Noah Anderson, as we said, just 4 being tagged by Bedford. Tom Green, 10 for the Giants. Lockie Whitfield with 9. Daniels with 7, 3 inside 50s, 3 score involvements. Toby Green, though, quiet, just the 3 touches in that first quarter.
Saints with the first goal the second term at Docklands, lead West Coast by 15 points. Back underway at the Sydney Showground with Anderson wrapped up. Got some kind of kick away here for Rowell, who's also collected there by Callaghan. The umpire says, give it to me. Giants by 14 points to buff up the home side's way here. Toby Green, the skipper, spills it down. Moyle tumbles his kick to half forward. Walter marks on the chest, 55 from goal. It was dealt with after the fact as well. Down there by Himmelberg, but he'll take his kick here from centre half forward, Jed Walter. Kicked his first career goal against this side the last time they met at Gather Round. This kick just trickles out of bounds for a throw-in alongside the right behind post.
Don't know about that kick going inside 50. I like it in slow play. If you're going to make that decision, I'd rather you go top of the goal scorer and Ben King compete pretty high in the air.
Yeah, it's very wide to the pocket.
Yeah.
Boundary throw in, deep in attack for the Suns. Sets up nicely for Peatling. He throws it on the boot. High ball, exiting defensive 50. Powell punches it away from Hogan. Callaghan's under pressure. Well done by Rao, who is then tackled by Peatling. We'll have a ball up just outside 50 for the Suns. So it's Will Powell in his 100th game on Toby Green, doing a good job on him early on.
Another goal, by the way, for Oscar Allen at Docklands. So West Coast closed the gap there on St Kilda to 9 points. Saints lead that game by 9. Back live here at the Showground. Still the Giants by 14. Umpire can't split them. Throw it up. Briggs palms it down here, looking for Cumming. Slaps it out wide here on the run of Callaghan. Shares it with Jones on his outside. Goes inside 50 now. Hogan's second bite reels in the grab. He's 40 from goal. Looks to maybe give it off. No, hold it for a moment here, Jesse Hogan, and potentially here kick his third.
You'd encourage him to take his shot here, Sato. He's in terrific form. The terrific tackle he laid in the first corner to set up the first goal of the game, but he's also kicked to himself. He's in great form, and just encourage him to go back and do a big man's kick.
Kicked a couple of goals from different parts of the ground early on, Jesse Hogan. Kicks from just inside 50 here to the scoreboard end. It's on its way, and it's offline to the right-hand side. The Giants with their first blemish of the afternoon. 5-1-31, lead Gold Coast 2-4-16. 3 gone second term, ABC Sport.
Got the Josh Kennedy's about him in his run-up at the moment, Jesse Hogan. That stutter is becoming rather pronounced as Briggs marks on the wing. Giants leading by 15 points. Goes short to Isaac Cumming. He's got the better of Ned Moyle at the moment in this ruck battle, Cal Sinclair, Kieran Briggs.
He certainly has, but stoppage numbers would say the opposite.
Cumming kicks to the left forward pocket and cutting across nicely is Moyle. So perhaps he heard that bit of commentary and said, I'll just stake my place in this game, thank you very much. It's a strong defensive mark by Moyle.
Ships it around here to Collins. Still inside defensive 50 here, Gold Coast. 15 points they trail by. Another former Docker out there, Sam Collins. Well established now at the Gold Coast Suns, and Aston Fairest winner, Mac Andrew, comes up here, members side. Walter, good use of the body on Himmelberg. Sexton overruns the ball here. Did unkind bounce. Coming back to Peatling. Slap back here towards Whitfield. Clever it was from Briggs, and now Jones can dash away from Flanders. Shares the hand pass in, ball down. Himmelberg run down again by Holman this time. On the overlap, here they go, the Suns. Anderson, and now Cumming got tangled up down there with Walter. The umpire, well, the ball goes loose on the members' wing. The umpire says throw it back in. It's the Giants 5-1-31, Gold Coast 2-4-16. 4 minutes having been elapsed in this second term on ABC Sport.
Unlucky not to get a free kick there, Jed Walter. Caught him around the shoulder as Moyle takes it cleanly out of the ruck on the wing. Quick kick forward is gathered by Lockie Ash at halfback. Handball over his shoulders to Iden. The 1-2 with Callaghan. A bit of showtime stuff from the Giants off halfback. Now it's Ash in the middle of the ground. He took one bounce too many and was caught by Lloyd Johnston. And they play on quickly, the Suns. Johnson gets it back from Morale. The handball to centre half forward. It's a bouncing ball gathered by Callaghan. Well done to Fonte. Gave it the 1-2. Fonte back to Callaghan. Bouncing ball to McMullen. He gathers it on the wing. Gives it to Tom Green, who snaps it to half forward. Cadman's there. Collins in front of him. Roving the contest well is Bedford. Has a bounce. There's a man inside the pocket in Toby Green, his captain. He snaps it over his shoulder and it's marked by Thomas. Well, they did it the hard way, the Giants, but eventually Thomas is marked inside 50. He'll kick from the right forward pocket, 20 out.
What's going on, Sato, with our, not our, but the Gold Coast Suns small defenders at the moment? If you'd be pulling your hair out if you're Damien Hardwick in the box at the moment. They're getting so much space out the back and the impact's enormous.
So Harvey Thomas has had such an impressive debut season. Caught everyone by surprise when he was named to debut. Hasn't lost his place in the side since opening round, and he's kicked a goal in this one. Thomas has his 9th of the season, and he extends the Giants' lead to 21 points 5 minutes into the second quarter.
You're 1,000% right, Cal. The Giants' small forwards get up the ground and then they just get forward hard. And the Gold Coast defenders, they kind of track up with them, then get lost ball watching and just let them run straight past and through them. I've been watching the matchup. Mac Andrews had the direct matchup on Darcy Jones, which is an odd matchup in terms of size, but you can understand if you want Mac Andrew to intercept Mark, let Jones get high and just stay back and intercept. But he's getting caught in no man's land. Their small forwards are getting free, and that's what Harvey Thomas was able to do that side from the offside as a half forward, gets up high and then gets back deep inside 50. They're able to run straight past their defenders to get free ball going inside 50.
Jason Saddington and Callum Sinclair, your experts on ABC Sports. Saturday afternoon footy as Rowell is wrapped up immediately in the middle or balled up again. Meanwhile, St Kilda leads by 15 points at the West Coast at Docklands. Early stages, second quarter there. Concurrent calls available on the ABC Listen app, as now a free kick will go the Gold Coast Suns' way for a hold there on Flanders from the bullseye. Waste no time. Down the line here for Gold Coast. King up in front, beats Buckley this time. And he's paid the grab, 25 out directly in front. Ben King.
That was a nicer entry, Cal. I think the one before Walter went wide. That time they were a bit more corridor like you called for. And King was just able to get that little bit of separation from Buckley and get the launch at the footy, which was enough. Buckley was right on his hammer trying to spoil, but with his long limbs up in front, strong mark Ben King.
He kicked 3 goals last time these sides met. He's also in that race to 50 with Curnow and Hogan. He's missed a lot here. That is an absolute howler. Somehow it's kept alive as Johnston tried to juggle it in the pocket, but it went out of bounds on the full before all of that. So
if there was a further point post, I reckon he still missed everything.
Oh, that is extraordinary from Ben King to miss that badly.
If you're a golfer out there, it was a shank.
Well, I was just thinking, he's like a golfer at the British Open at Royal Troon at the moment, just struggling with those wins.
21 points, the Giants lead.
Being spooked off the tee, like Rory McIlroy and Cam Smith were perhaps, as Ned Moyle marks it. Just forward of the wing for the Suns. Another entry inside 50. Underneath it is Johnston, and he marks it. Lloyd Johnston, well, I'm not sure a Giants defender showed enough intent to spoil there. Had a lot of time underneath that football, and Lloyd Johnston is marked in the left forward pocket.
Yeah, I don't know about Lloyd Johnston there. He had no one go near him there for a good 3 or 4 seconds while that ball sat in the air. There was no really excuse for the Giants player to not man him up, but just in a balloon, just go right in the middle of his run up there, putting him off a little bit. But I don't think the Giants will be getting rid of that. But
it's just been popped by Joe Fonte. He just put his right foot on it, popped it.
Lloyd Johnston's exciting young talent for the Suns has missed that near side. It's wasteful now from Gold Coast. They are 2-5-17. GWS 6-1-37. The margin 20 points.
Giants waste no time. Short ball from Ash to Whitfield, and he goes long beyond defensive 50. Andrew up in front, spills the grab off his chest. Was up here, Mac Andrew at ground level, slips a tackle, does well, but doesn't get it disposal away. Cadman piles in on him, and the umpire says, give it to me. did see, for all of the fact this is not one of the bigger crowd games, there is a superstar in the house during Origin week. Mitch Moses, the New South Wales Blues rugby league team, who was among their best. He's suffered a bad injury as well. Jones goes inside 50 here for the Giants. Riccardi marks on the point of 50 here in the right forward pocket. So, there's a bit of a superstar of sport in the house here. Riccardi goes inside forward 50. Toby Green spills the grab. Hewlin comes through in defence, wraps up the Giants captain. Loose footy bounces there towards Flanders. Shares it now again with his teammates in defence. It comes to Rowell, who points it beyond defensive 50.
Looks for Ben Long, but Jack Buckley read it well. Took the mark, hit the ground running, kicks inside 50. Riccardi fails to take the grab. Will Powell is there in the right back pocket, gathers it. Handball to Rowell. And now they exit a defensive area, the Suns. There's a free kick on the play. It'll go the way of Ben King. So he'll grab it on the wing as the Suns players flood forward.
Yeah, Lockie Whitfield grabbed hold of his arm as King engaged in contact.
He sends it attacking side of the wing. Long has 2 to beat. Comes off his chest and he shanks the kick there after out of bounds on the full. I will just say, while I'm deviating to other codes, that during Origin week we've got the 2 New South Wales teams up against the 2 Queensland teams. So of course, big game today, Giants Suns. Massive game tomorrow at the Gabba with the Swans away to the Brisbane Lions. For what it's worth, Ash receives a half volley. Short kick, not 15 to Perryman. Plays on, ducks a tackle, comes beyond defensive 50 now for Daniels. He kicked the first goal of the game, has a couple so far here, the milestone man. Comes wide now to Cal Ward on the outer side. Giants keep a 20-point lead here. 11 go on second term. ABC Sport. And a Poppy Penny very shortly as Ward comes up the outer side. It's intercepted here by Hewlin. Down to you, Poppy.
Yeah, by the looks of things, Isaac Cummings having that left hamstring tested at the moment. He spent quite a long time on the physio table.
Has had some soft tissue issues this season, Isaac Cummings. Xavier O'Halloran the sub for the Giants as Gold Coast go into attack to left half forward. Iden just guides it away from Lukosius. We'll have a boundary throw in that area. GWS leading by 20 points. 11 minutes gone in the second term. The sub for Gold Coast is Will Graham. Gold Coast looking for their first away win of the season. The Giants looking for 3 victories on the trot. Peatling tries to extract the football inside defensive 50. Briggs eventually gathers it and gives it to Lockie Whitfield, who has a bounce. The 1-2 with Callan Ward, but it was well read by David Swallow, who knew what the Giants were trying to do. He knocked it away. Bedford gathered it though. Kick up to the wing, bounced in front of Cadman. Handball inboard to Jones, and the Suns win it back.
They win it back here off that outer wing that comes high off Anderson's boot towards half forward. Long tries to slap it forward here. Perryman beats him though, wins the football. Tom Green got a big shove as well. Footy comes loose. It was good work from Butterick. And now Anderson wins it back now for the Suns. Goes inside 50. Iden in defence. Got around the chops down there from Ben King. While Tom Green can clear. Back to the centre circles where Daniels competes with Hewland. Thomas hand pass picked off. Rowell gets there first for Gold Coast. Shares it with Closey on the 45. His kick to find Lukosius is a good one. 65 from goal. Needs the entry here. Won't get it as it goes straight onto Peatling's chest. And the Giants keep a 20-point lead.
Peatling to Tom Green for possession number 15. It's a beauty. Perfectly weighted for the lead of Riccardi on the wing, who was out in front of Collins. Marking on his chest. Happy to set things up and take this sting out of the game a bit with a backwards kick to Connor Iden at left halfback. He goes laterally to Perryman. And now they switch it all the way across to Buckley, who shields his eyes from the sun and now runs away from Ben King. Drives it up the wing. Bouncing ball in front of Thomas. Clever tap to Ward. Gives the handball back to Thomas. He's under pressure and now they've coughed it up, GWS. Kicked forward by Anderson. Gathered by Holman, and now David Swallow just calls for a player to come to him inside 50. Pops it over the top of Ben King in the end. I think it's out of bounds on the full, it is. So that's a wasted effort by Gold Coast, and Buckley will take the free kick at right half back.
I've seen a few kicks, Poppy, sort of deviate out that way, not least of which Ben King shot on goal a short time ago. So the wind looks like it's going across the ground towards the outer side.
The wind is going which way it likes. It is changing by the seconds, Riggy.
Ash so waits his kick well here for Perryman. So no such trouble for him coming back to the members' side. Perryman at left half back to Fonte, the third gamer. Meanwhile, at Docklands, St Kilda leads West Coast by 13 points midway through that second term. Make it 12 points. They're behind to West Coast and Liam Ryan. One back here off half forward now for the Gold Coast Suns. Weller can either goals from 45 with a finish. That's a nice moment. Lockie Weller, welcome back to the big time. His teammates out there love that. His teammates in the box next to us love that. That's a very important goal for the Gold Coast Suns and certainly for Lockie Weller on his return. It's a 14-point ball game. The Giants are 6-1-37. Gold Coast 3-5-23. 14 go on second term. Saturday afternoon footy on ABC Sport. Back to Bobby Penny on the boundary.
Yeah, Xavier O'Halloran's just taken off the training top, so it looks like he's going to be subbed into the game.
Well, it's a well-deserved goal for Gold Coast. They had the last few minutes of play in their front half. Defensively, they'd been good and they'd slowed the Giants down. The Giants couldn't get any run going and really couldn't get past halfway, but they had a few opportunities prior to that. Gold Coast, just a bit wasteful going inside 50, but eventually the weight of numbers and some good defensive work allowed them to get that goal.
So Lockie Weller in his first game since round 17 last year after an ACL. Kicks one for the Suns. Pegs the margin back to 14 points in favour of GWS. Toby Green in the middle of the ground now. He's given away a free kick for a high hit on Jed Walter. Down to Poppy Penny.
Yeah, just confirming it's Isaac Cumming with hamstring soreness who's been subbed out.
That's a blow for the Giants. Xavier O'Halloran coming into the game. Jed Walter winning the free kick. High, long ball inside 50. Buckley's underneath it off hands. Ben Long gathers it. Quick handball to Bailey Humphrey. Tries to get free and does so with a handball into the pocket. Trying to keep it in with Swallow. Failed to do so. So a boundary throw in attack for the Suns, who trail by 14 points. 15 and a half minutes gone in the second term at the showground.
Round the grounds at Docklands. Jack Williams kicked the goal for West Coast, so it's back to a 6-point ball game there. St Kilda 5-4, West Coast 4-4. Full call of that on the ABC Listen app, on the ABC AFL button. Back in it comes. Down here, Tom Green goes to gather, extract the footy, kick those scoos only as far as Flanders. Breaks the tackle of Bedford, sends it back. Goldwood here, up in front of it. Ben King through his hands. Numbers in defence there. Fonte shares it with Himmelberg for the Giants. And now comes to Perryman, who can just turn his kick up the line beyond defensive 50. Mac Andrew palms it down there only as far as Darcy Jones, his opponent. And now Riccardi sprawls for the football. Knocks it out in space. Getting there is Ballard for the Suns. And now Anderson pops them back inside forward 50. Iden with a decisive spoil from behind on long. It's over for a throw-in once again. Giants lead this game by 14 points at 6-1. Plays 3-5 Gold Coast. 17 go on second term. Saturday afternoon footy on ABC Sport.
We've got a better reaction time with Gold Coast Suns at the moment. The ball's hitting the deck. They're just making it a bit sloppy there for the Giants. They're not able to get their run on, and they're getting a few more repeats.
Yeah, they've pegged GWS inside defensive 50. Good tackle by Walter after doing the ruck work on Tom Green. So a ball up in attack for Gold Coast, who are just locking the Sharon in GWS's defensive 50. Riccardi slaps it away, gathered by Sexton. Puts the Giants back under pressure. Well done, though, by Joe Fonte. In just his third game, cuts across and takes the intercept defensive mark. Fonte will play on to the wing. Hogan and Ballard wrestling. Ballard does well to throw Hogan off the football and take the mark. I think that was fair. Giants fans don't like it. But he had strong position, just moved Hogan off the football and took it on his chest.
Turns 25 on Tuesday, Charlie Ballard. Sends the Suns back inside forward 50. Running start from King and Johnson at the back, though. It's with Lukosius. Goes on the outside of the boot and brings it back. The Suns get another one. This second term has belonged to them. Lukosius on the board for his second, so it's now an 8-point game. The Giants are 6-1-37. The Gold Coast Suns are 4-5-29. 18 go on second quarter on ABC Sport this Saturday afternoon. Your experts are Jason Saddington and Callum Sinclair.
Well, it's amazing, Sado, what it looks like when you're going inside 50 and you don't have to be too pretty. You just put the expectations on your big guys and Ben King and Walters to make a contest. Comes to ground, you could argue the coach has got a little bit lucky there at the back, but last few times they've gone inside 50. They've had some really good contests from Ben King. They're not trying to be too cute. But I think they've got back in this game really off their work rate and their reaction time to not allow the Giants to put speed on the ball off half-back, Sado. I think that's been a crucial factor to them getting back in the game.
Absolutely hemmed them in. Inside 50s now 30-18 Gold Coast way.
GWS trailing by just 8 points now after leading by 20. Just a few minutes ago. Isaac Cummings subbed out of the game. Big blow for GWS. Xavier O'Halloran is in. Hamstring issue for Cummings. Briggs guides it down to Brent Daniels. He's been busy. Snapping ball inside 50. Hogan couldn't take the mark. Well done, Ballard. A couple of really good moments for him up against Hogan. They bounce away from defensive 50 now, the Suns. Rouse kick to Walter. Well done by Himmelberg. Won that contest. Kicks to right half forward. Powell and Green. Will Powell's riding Toby Green all day. Puts a big tackle on him. Green gets a handball free, but straight to Swallow. Butterick has it now. Gets around Brent Daniels. And kicks up to Will Powell on the wing, who is doing really well up against the Giants superstar in Toby Green.
Runner at the game, Will Powell goes inboard now, bounced off the chest of Lukosius. 2 goals this afternoon for him. Comes wide now back to Jeffrey. He can tumble towards 50, and it's marked by Humphrey. Bailey Humphrey, 65 from goal here. Needs the entry for Gold Coast to get further ascendancy in this game. Goes high inside forward 50. Walter reaching at the back, and Fonte rushes it through for a minor score. So it's been all the Gold Coast Suns just going forward and finding opportunities. On that occasion, a behind. It's 4-6-30, trailing the Giants, who are 6-1-37. About to hit time on here in the second term on ABC Sport.
They go short to Whitfield in the left back pocket of the Giants. Centres it to Connor Iden, just outside his own defensive goal square. Has a bounce. Suns are set up well. Kicks to the wing. Riccardi's there. Did very well up against Joel Jeffrey, just to use his body to shield him away from the football and take the mark on his chest. They want to get their run going off half back here. Whitfield to Fonte. And now to Jack Buckley. They move it laterally though to Perryman. Now all the way wider to Harry Himmelberg by hand. Himmelberg is a man over the top though in O'Halloran, the sub. His first possession. It's patient football by GWS.
Gold Coast have done well. They did push them wide. Giants were trying to get the handball through the middle going.
Long ball from O'Halloran inside 50. Hogan with the sit, guides it down. Daniels is there. The Gold Coast defence stands up well. Butterick's kick to Closey. Missed its mark. Rao was able to gather it though. They work it over the top now to Hewland.
Hewland hand pass to Swallow, the former skipper. Now comes back out wide. Awkward hand pass for Humphrey. Goes together now. Fires it back here again. Lukosius wrapped up by Himmelberg. Footy comes loose. Hewland bursts away. Slips the Whitfield tackle. Goes high inside forward 50. Walter waiting for it, but Spoil was down there from Fonte. Footy comes loose though back to Anderson. The umpire spot a free kick here for around the neck. It's going to be a Gold Coast Suns free kick as King was involved and caught one high from Iden. It'll take the Gold Coast spearhead here well within range, 20 out on a 45-degree angle.
Well done by the Suns. They beat the Giants at their own game up the wing here, didn't they, with their handball game and got some run going to get it inside 50. It was only the great work from Fonte that stopped them having a set shot on goal from a chest mark in the first place. But again, they've a well-deserved shot on goal from the Suns.
Ben King had the absolute howler from this similar spot earlier in this quarter. Starts right, a little too far right. It stays that way, so it's a minor score for Gold Coast. 4-7-31. They trail the Giants, who are 6-1-37. 22 go on second term. Saturday afternoon footy on ABC Sport.
If I was a small forward, I'd be looking for the wraparound from Ben King now. Wouldn't you be keen to give one off his next one?
His technique is just really unusual. He's really close to the man of the mark, leans back on the footy, and that's a horrible kick.
That's a bad kick from Whitfield to Himmelberg. He's put his defenders under pressure. Perryman gathers it. And we'll have a ball up inside 50 for Gold Coast. So Ben King's kicked 2 behinds, and on my count, 3 out of bounds on the full.
Yeah.
He's had his chances, Garbs.
But it seems as if there's a little devil on his shoulder at the moment, and this wind is really impacting his mental state as he lines up for goal. That's palmed down nicely to Butterick, who has a flying shot on goal. And that's also gone out of bounds on the full. So the Giants lead by 5 points. 23 minutes gone in the second term here at the Showground Stadium.
And they totally hemmed in their back half, the Giants. They can't find a way through, either with their kick play. They're trying to generate some sort of ball movement back through the middle, but the Suns have really lifted the defensive game. They're much tighter, and if the Giants are trying to get the ball going forward, they're pushing them wide.
I'm going to check the arc here to see if it might have just shaved the post on the way through, in which case it would be no score. This is always fun.
Yeah, you are right there, Sato. It just feels like a real defensive focus, but a lot of it comes down to kind of attitude, concentration and reaction time. I don't think we've seen the the Giants have a passage of play where they've really had to propel off half-back. It seems like they've been stopped.
Yep.
And their entries haven't been overly clean. The Gold Coast Suns, a lot of stuff getting back into the game of long kicks to the top of the square. Ben King and Walters making a terrific contest. And I'll tell you what, if Ben King could work on his accuracy, I tell you what, they might have had a handy lead, the Gold Coast Suns, in this quarter.
Yep, for sure. Still looking at this one.
Oh, rock and rolled a million times. I thought that the power outage or the software outage might have made an issue.
I had that at work yesterday during a presentation between 2 and 3 p.m. I was very nervous.
Just knock off and go for an early refreshment? Or
I was going to say, how does he get interrupted with a long lunch?
Ad hoc.
Anyway, no, it's going to be, no score, which was the call to start with, wasn't it? So it's going to be here. Still the Giants by 6 points. Buckley kicks back in. Beyond defensive 50. Up goes Riccardi. Off hands. Bursting by Bedford. Just thumps his kick down the line as well. Out to a 2-on-2. Spoil comes from Collins. Briggs knocks it back the other way. Free kick here for too high. Will go the way of Kieran Briggs. They want the advantage. They won't get to hear the Giants, but it will be a free kick.
Crowd's happy.
From the middle of the ground here. Off to Ash. On the entry here for the Giants. Hogan leads up from the pocket. It bounced off his chest. Bedford back to Jones. Kick smothered. It was well done there by Powell. Powell wins the footy away again. Back to Rowell. And now Callahan for the Giants. Centering ball up to find Perryman, who marks inside 50. 25 out directly in front.
You could make the argument, Sato, that was a bit lucky, but generally when you're in that position, the best place to kick that ball if you're a forward is high into the corridor, see if you can find someone there with some representation and make a contest. And it seemed like he had a fair bit of sun in his eyes there. I think that's Perryman with the ball, I think.
Yep, that's what I said. Here he is, Perryman, who's usually back in defence, getting a couple of goals this year. Here he is for a very important goal for the Giants to halt some Gold Coast momentum. GWS is 7-1-43, Gold Coast 4-7-31. 26 minutes played, second quarter on ABC Sport. Your experts are Callum Sinclair and Jason Saddington.
It was a real case for Finn Callahan, knowing where your teammates are supposed to be, wasn't it? He didn't really have to look to see if Perryman, as a half-back, was going to get high up inside 50 in that instance. He knew that that's the way our team plays. That's where our half-back should be in this instance. So he was able to just put it there with confidence. And, of course, Perryman was there to take an uncontested mark. He did have to watch it closely in the sun with the wind, but he's a class player, Perryman, and I think that's why clubs are very interested in what he can do, because he's a very, very skillful player and very versatile.
They love him here at the Giants, though. They don't want to lose him. A heart and soul player of the club, they say. And that was a big goal. Brings the margin back out to 12 points after an excellent quarter from Gold Coast. Suns win it in the middle of the ground through Anderson. Quick handball to Flanders. The kick to left half forward, guided down by Long. The Giants are able to gather it, though. Ash, who is starting to get involved in this football game. Clever kick. 20 metres forward to Tom Green. Possession number 17 coming up for the Giants midfield start. Up the wing he goes. Halloran's there. Didn't quite judge it well in the air. Whitfield does the roving. The handball forward is going to be picked up by Noah Anderson. Now Rowell on his left. His kick to half forward is over the head of Flanders. Picked up by Iden. Quick handball from Whitfield after getting it from Iden to Ash. Sweeping handball forward. Finds its way to Briggs. And now Tom Green's going to be caught. Needed to be quicker. Eventually got the ball on his boot. O'Halloran works it to McMullen, and now they can go inside 50. The Giants. Hogan's underneath it. Tries to take the mark, falling to his left. Cadman gathers it. Eventually Toby Green around a couple outside of the boot, has kicked it. The skipper stands up with a beauty. A little shake and bake from Toby Green with the outside of his right. He's kicked his first of the game.
Tell you what, Sato, there's not much stuff you can... it's kind of like an Oz kicker, one of the best players in Oz kick at half-time, just doing what he wants. 2 or 3 shugs there, but... Tell you what, you wouldn't see many big guys do that, Sato. I don't think you and me had that in that kit bag back in the day, but no disrespect to you, my friend, but...
Toby, bang on. Well, he went both ways, didn't he, Toby? He's like, oh, come inside. No, I better go outside. He hasn't been involved in the play too much, Toby. He's been quiet, but I guess that's what he can do, can't he? He gets an opportunity, he's going to take it.
And even before that, just the fight of Jesse Hogan, just to get a finger in there and make a contest. Certainly out of position there for a big part of that play, but he gave Toby Green a chance.
Around the grounds at Docklands, half-time there, St Kilda leads West Coast by 19 points. Similar sort of scoreline, that one, as Flanders wins the clearance here for Gold Coast, up inside 50, but Buckley, watchful, spills the mark in the end. Thought he had it, but umpire says play on, and now Walter is wrapped up. And we'll ball it up inside attacking 50 for Gold Coast at the Olympic Stadium end of the showground. Sunny day, plenty of wind about. A lower bowl, about half full, I'd say, here at the showground. On the outer side especially. Weller bursts through here, extract the footy well, hurries his kick on goal, but it misses to the left-hand side. He's already had one goal this afternoon on his return, Lockie Weller. It's now a 17-point ball game the Giants' way as we approach half-time.
A couple of quick goals to GWS, Perryman and then Toby Green. Extending the margin back to 17 points. They've coughed this up, though, deep inside defensive 50. Himmelberg and Whitfield in a mix-up. Whitfield's just slow to get to his feet. He's okay, though. 19 possessions for him. We'll have a boundary throw in after that mishap. Deep inside attacking 50 for Gold Coast.
That's what Gold Coast be saying. Just keep the pressure on, be close enough, because the Giants have looked shaky coming out of D50.
40 seconds to go until half-time. Can the Suns find a major from this contest? Buckley wins it, though, for GWS. Handball back to Peatling, who clears the defensive area. Hogan makes the contest. His opponent, Ballard, just tapped it to a teammate. He works it back to Budrick. Kick off his left inside 50. And Whitfield got Weller around the head there, and I think there's a free kick as a result. It'll go the way of Lockie Weller. Yeah, Whitfield got him around the shoulder. It's a little bit lazy in a defensive sense from Lockie Whitfield, and Lockie Weller will have a shot from 45 out in a 45-degree angle to the left.
It's 2 free kicks. Whitfield's given away marking contests in this game. You understand he's generally an undersized player down back, and it's not what he's there for, is to compete one-on-one in the air, but he's got to be mindful that he just can't grab a hold of a player.
Well, it might be a tactic, Sado, to maybe play through him, to be honest.
Very good spot by the umpire in that contest. Lockie Weller for his second goal of the game and his first game since round 17 last year after an ACL. On the half-time siren, it draws strongly to the left and is through for a behind. So the margin is 16 points in favour of GWS. The home side, 8-1-49. Gold Coast inaccurate, 4-9-33.
Quarter in which the Gold Coast did pull some momentum back their way, as you said, Garby, but the Giants making the most of opportunities in the latter stages of that second term. They do lead at the home side here by 16 points, 8-1 to 4-9. Goal kickers, Brent Daniels and Jesse Hogan, each with 2. Singles to Darcy Jones, Toby Green, a fantastic effort a short time ago. Harvey Thomas and Harry Perryman. Meanwhile, for the Gold Coast Suns, 2 for Lukosius, singles to Ben Long and to Lockie Weller, as you mentioned, also in that second term. It's the Giants by 16 points at the major break. Your experts on ABC Sport this Saturday afternoon are Jason Saddington, former Swan and Blue, and former Eagle and Swan, Callum Sinclair.
Well, well done to the Suns. They had a really good quarter of footy, and I mean, they shouldn't be 16 points down, to be honest. They're probably a little bit wasteful. Their set shots on goal have obviously been an issue. They've missed some real opportunities, but they really owned that quarter. They spent most of the time in their front half, and if you look at the inside 50 stats at half-time, the Gold Coast are leading that 34-22. They were much better defensively, Cal, and I think you used the word their reaction was much quicker. So when the Giants were trying to come out of their back half, the Suns really put the brakes on any of their ball movement. They were able to get repeat entries, and that flow of repeat entries, without it being beautiful football going inside, they were able to create some opportunities and get some of those goals. And if it wasn't for the Giants getting 2 quick goals later in that quarter, they really probably should have gone in at the break in front of the Suns. But terrific work to really stop the Giants running game through that quarter.
No, I couldn't agree more. I think the small forwards of the GWS Giants were kept under control that quarter. We probably felt Sado the first few minutes. Jones was getting his hands on the footy at the back, and we thought, oh my God, what's going on? But can't really recall a passage of play where the Giants kind of propelled through the middle of the ground that quarter. It just seems like the Suns came out with a bit of a defensive focus, probably in the first quarter, I think Garbs made the point just kind of about Ned Moyle and Kieran Briggs, and you guys will laugh, you know I love a ruck battle, but interesting to see Ned Moyle kind of get himself back into the game. He's had 18 hit-outs, 5 clearances he's had for the game, so can't really ask too much more from your young ruckman against Kieran Briggs, who's a bit of a brute out there. Highlight for me that quarter was Toby Green's goal. Like, I think that'll definitely be goal of the week for the round, and probably maybe a contender for goal of the year. But that's something that, like, you know, Toby Green does. He gets his group back in the game. He just pops up at the right moments, Sado, when he has to give some energy to the group. But and in terms of Gold Coast Suns entries, they were a little bit more predictable, particularly for the key forwards. You know, the coach has got that one out the back, but I thought Ben King and I'll tell you what, Walters, for a young guy, yes, he's a big lad, but he's a competitor. Yep. He makes a contest every single time. He probably plays a little bit similar to Jesse Hogan. They both had really good games that they're caught out of position, but you just know they're never, ever going to get outmarked. They bring the ball to ground. They bring their small forwards into the game.
Sub-made in that first half, by the way, in that second quarter. So Isaac coming out with hamstring soreness, which meant Xavier O'Halloran came into the game. So the sub having been made for the Giants, who lead here by 16 points.
Yeah, the Isaac coming in injury, you hope it is a precautionary one, and it probably is because he has been out for a large chunk of the year with hamstring issues. So you'd think they'd take it quite careful with the medical staff and Isaac coming with his hamstring injury, because he's shown the last few weeks, being back in the team, how important a player he is. Certainly out in that wing, he's been very good. So disappointing for Isaac coming, and for the Giants. Hopefully there's not too much in that. But, gee, you know, I'm really looking forward through this next half. Can the Giants get their running game going again? Or can Gold Coast maintain control of the game and keep them in check? And if they can do that, the Suns, and Ben King can get his kicking boot on, they're a massive chance.
That would help. So they had 4 more scoring shots across the game, as you say, in that first half. 8-1 plays 4-9. Thank you, Sato. Thank you, Cal. Halftime here at the Showground. Mentioned the halftime score there. It's a 19-point lead to Secura over West Coast at Docklands. Did see a little replay of Liam Ryan and some high contact on Liam Stocker, which maybe looked at, I'm sure, given we're looking at everything these days. And fair enough. Coming up later on at the MCG, the Twilight game, Hawthorn v Collingwood. And later on tonight, Geelong v the Western Bulldogs at Glenmere Park, and Port Adelaide and Richmond at Adelaide Oval. So depending on where you are, you'll get a full call of that game, or you can find either call of each game on the ABC Listen app. Just look for the AFL or AFL Extra button. It is 16 points, the Giants over the Suns here at the Showground. Right now, it is time for the latest from the ABC Newsroom.
ABC News with Satyam Weinstein. The cybersecurity firm behind a massive computer outage says it could take some time before everything returns to normal after a software update crashed computers across the globe. The BBC's Nick Johnson reports.
Queues at airports and railway stations, TV channels off air, people unable to access their bank accounts or GP surgeries. The impact caused by this IT outage has been far-reaching. More than 3,300 flights have been cancelled, with the outage affecting airports and airlines around the world. The cybersecurity firm CrowdStrike said the failures had been caused by a defect in one of its software updates, which affected computers running Microsoft Windows. The firm admitted it could be some time before systems are fully restored.
Multiple Jetstar flights have been cancelled today as a result of the global CrowdStrike network outages, causing travellers to rearrange their plans. A Jetstar spokesperson says only a small number of flights have been impacted, and passengers will be contacted directly if they're affected by the cancellations. Lisa Lawrence's flight was cancelled while she was travelling with her partner and 6-month-old baby, and says it has taken a toll.
It's been very disappointing that it's been cancelled, but we're going to Tokyo, and we're still going now, but it's cost us so much extra money, and extra stress. And, with the baby, it's already like pretty stressful travelling, and it's his first time.
Senior figures on US President Joe Biden's campaign team say he isn't going anywhere. Pressure has been mounting on Mr. Biden to exit the race, with senior Democrats publicly calling for him to abandon his campaign. His campaign chief, Jen O'Malley Dillon, has told MSNBC Joe Biden is still in the race.
Joe Biden is more committed than ever to beat Donald Trump. And we believe on this campaign, we are built for the close election that we are in, and we see the path forward. The president is the leader of our campaign and of the country, and he is the best person to take on Donald Trump.
An American journalist convicted of espionage has been jailed for 16 years in a Russian court in a case his employer describes as a sham. Europe correspondent Isabella Higgins has more.
Evan Gershkovich was arrested in southwest Russia in March 2023. The Wall Street Journal reporter was on an assignment when he was detained by FSB officers and accused of spying on the state. Now, about 15 months later, he's been convicted of espionage and sentenced to 16 years in a maximum security prison. The UN's Human Rights Office says it has serious concerns about the trial, while the Wall Street Journal says it will fight for his release on these sham charges. The US President Joe Biden said in a statement that 32-year-old was targeted because he was a journalist and American.
Former and current staff at Wonumble College say student and teacher abuse is rife across the state, describing their workplace as just the canary in the coal mine. Olivia Sanders with the details.
Work-related nightmares and crying in the car before work are among the mental health impacts former and current staff at Warrnambool College say they've experienced after prolonged exposure to a toxic work environment. It's alleged students brought makeshift weapons to class, hurled racist and sexist abuse at teachers, and stalked a teacher at a supermarket. Last year, WorkSafe ordered the State Education Department to place a mental health worker on site to support staff, but the department has brought the matter to VCAT, reportedly saying it would set a statewide precedent it can't afford.
Wonumble College didn't respond for requests for comment, while Victoria's Education Department says it can't comment while the case is before VCAT. A man has died in a house fire in southern Tasmania. Meg Whitefield with the details.
Crews from around Tasmania's Huon Valley were called to the Geeveston property about 9:30. Police say fire service volunteers were the first to arrive, finding the house fully engulfed. They say the fire took a considerable amount of time to extinguish and have confirmed the body of a man was found inside. They say the body is believed to be that of a man in his 70s, who was the sole occupant of the property. The cause of the fire will continue today. A report will be prepared for the coroner.
And a specialist team has retrieved the bodies of 4 climbers dead for a number of years in the high Himalayas in Nepal. The Nepalese army deployed a team of about 30 military personnel and Sherpas to recover the bodies from the so-called death zone, which is above an altitude of 8,000 metres. There have been more than 300 deaths in the Mount Everest region since records of climbing began. You're up to date with the latest from ABC News.
This month, find a brand new collection of audiobooks on the ABC Listen app. Spend some time in colonial Sydney for the true story of Governor Bly's headstrong daughter Mary in That Bly Girl.
He hadn't envisioned Bly's daughter being the sole sentry brave enough to face his troops.
If you're a fan of George Orwell, Anna Funda's Wifedom is a must-listen.
Deadlines ticking under every waking minute. I shopped for groceries.
Find these audiobooks and many more for free on the ABC Listen app.
This is ABC Sports coverage of the 2024 AFL season. Every match on the ABC Listen app.
Look for the AFL button.
There's a man inside the pocket in Toby Green, his captain. He snaps it over his shoulder and it's marked by Thomas. Well, they did it the hard way, the Giants, but eventually Thomas is marked inside 50. He'll kick from the right forward pocket, 20 out. So Harvey Thomas has had such an impressive debut season. Caught everyone by surprise when he was named to debut. Hasn't lost his place in the side since opening round, and he's kicked a goal in this one.
One back here off half forward now for the Gold Coast Suns. Weller can eye the goals from 45 with a finish. That's a nice moment. Lockie Weller, welcome back to the big time. His teammates out there love that. His teammates in the box next to us love that. That's a very important goal for the Gold Coast Suns, and certainly for Lockie Weller on his return.
Yeah, Xavier O'Halloran's just taken off the training top, so it looks like he's going to be subbed into the game. It's Isaac Cumming with hamstring soreness who's been subbed out.
Running start from King and Johnson at the back, though. It's with Lukosius, goes on the outside of the boot and brings it back. The Suns get another one. This second term has belonged to them. Lukosius on the board for his second, so it's now an 8-point gain. And now Callaghan to the Giants. Centering ball up to find Perryman, who marks inside 50, 25 out directly in front. Here is Perryman, who's usually back in defence, getting a couple of goals this year. Here he is for a very important goal for the Giants to halt some Gold Coast momentum.
Now they can go inside 50, the Giants. Hogan's underneath it, tries to take the mark, falling to his left. Cadman gathers it. Eventually Toby Green does. Around a couple outside of the bird has kicked it. Oh, the skipper stands up with a beauty. A little shake and bake from Toby Green with the outside of his right. He's kicked his first of the game.
The 2024 AFL Premiership season.
On your radio.
ABC Sport Digital.
And on the ABC Listen app.
Saturday afternoon footy at a windy Sydney showground where Greater Western Sydney, the Giants lead Gold Coast 8-1-49 to 4-9-33. Another game happening at Docklands, concurrent with this one, and St Kilda leads West Coast by 19 points at the major break there. As I mentioned pre the news, Hawthorn v Collingwood is the twilight game at the MCG, while Geelong and the Bulldogs and Port Adelaide versus Richmond are our two Saturday night games in round 19. You're back with Brett Sprigg, Daniel Garb, Jason Saddington, Callum Sinclair, Poppy Penny on the boundary. More from her shortly as the second half is not too far away. Bit of news we were talking about earlier, Garby, about Jack Buckley and the news or not news around wanting to see his partner Celeste Mucci compete in the hurdling in Paris, as to whether the final of that event, if she makes it, would clash with a game, whether we are seeing players get a bit more leeway with a bit of personal leave. It was reported that initially that he'd asked for leave and the Giants had knocked it back, but then it became apparent that there was never any such request, and maybe it was, whether there was just a thought in his mind that it's better off not to ask anyway for something like that. That was all pretty well quashed by Adam Kingsley, wasn't it, later in the week?
Well, he was asked about it yesterday, Adam Kingsley, and he simply said, has anyone asked Jack Buckley? Because it's been made out as if I've denied him. Jack Buckley doesn't want to go. He would love to go, but he realises it's not the right thing to do. We've got Brisbane that week, and he wants to stay here and play for this football club. I think people understand if there's a sister's wedding or a massive family thing, as much as he would love to go to the Olympics to watch her, he's got a job to do here, and that would probably be a controversial one, I would think.
I wonder if it's Tokyo and you can get there in a couple of days. In fact, Paris is probably a little bit too far anyway. But the other bit of news here, which implicates the other team playing at the moment, the West Coast Eagles, in the other game, and the other Sydney team as well, the Swans, where Dean Cox is a well-established, well-respected member of their coaching staff. And there was a categorical denial, I suppose, or confirmation that he is keen to stay in Sydney and not take up a potential offer to be West Coast's next coach, replacing Adam Simpson. Cal Sinclair, you know Dean from your days at West Coast and also from the Swans. Does it surprise you, and as well as the fact that it's John Longmire's last year on contract next year, as to what that looks like long term, and potentially making him the next Sydney Swans coach? There's a few little bits and pieces around that.
There certainly is. Like, to be honest, like the West Coast, you know, they're not the hottest team in the competition for now, but they're a fantastic club. They're eventually going to bounce back. So if I was Dean Cox, and if West Coast came to him and, I guess, asked him the question or asked him to interview, you'd be crazy not to go through the process. They're a well-resourced club. Yeah, they've got a few issues there at the moment in regards to list management and just a few things going on, and definitely their performances. But I think the West Coast Eagles fans would absolutely welcome him home with open arms. In terms of his credentials, he'd be a fantastic coach for them. He's really honed in on his craft here at the Sydney Swans. He got out of his comfort zone when he probably could have been a lifetime assistant coach at West Coast Eagles if he really wanted to be. But
he says he's happy here, his wife's happy here, the kids are happy, and they're going to stay.
Well, fair enough, but I don't know that. I would probably say it comes down to John Longmire and what he really wants to do. So is John comfortable enough to walk away next year with the squad in a pretty good window for the next 5 years? I'm not 100% Sato. You're looking at me a bit weirdly.
No,
but
I could never imagine Horse going, I'm going to step away.
Exactly right. Like, I can't see Horse stepping away. But if he did, but if Dean's staying, I would say that's a pretty strong indication they've got some sort of succession plan for him.
And then the thing is, Garby, so that next West Coast coach will likely not be the next premiership coach, right? They've probably got one more little cliff in them as far as rebuilding that next coach, and it may well be a 3 or 4 year job to the next one, unfortunately. And then there's a different timeline in place if that is a Dean Cox or someone has a link to the club. But that's probably in his mind a little bit as well.
Yeah, it can turn quickly. I mean, the Eagles are pretty much a wooden spoon team when John Worsfold took over, and then you get a kid called Daniel Kerr and Chris Judd in your first couple of years, and all of a sudden you're in the finals in his first season, John Worsfold, and they win a flag, I think, 4 years in. So it can change really quickly, maybe 5 years in. But yes, it does feel like there is a longer wait for West Coast to get back to that level this time around. But, you know, for any prospective assistant coach, the financial lift is enormous. Money talks. You go from a senior assistant to a head coach, and there's probably a double lift in terms of salary. I just think Dean Cox is settled here family-wise. I think that was the main reason. If that was different, I reckon he signs on the dotted line 100%. And I reckon with Sydney, a lot of it hinges on whether they win the premiership. So if they win it this year, I reckon that changes John Longmire's thinking. He's lost 3 in a row in his last 3 grand finals, right? I reckon they win the flag and he goes, all right, Coxie, I'll maybe do it for another year or 2, and then it's yours.
I saw some discussion, Sato, around, well, when will the Swans announce a succession plan? Well, they won't, and clubs probably shouldn't, because that's been pretty well ill-fated. There's been some bad examples in recent times of succession plans, but how it becomes known at some stage, how that looks beyond John Longmire, if it is after next year, we'll have to wait and see.
I think if you're a first-time coach, you're not in a position to be turning down AFL jobs, particularly at the West Coast Eagles, who are arguably the most powerful club in the competition.
He's categorically... So you're saying he should still think about West Coast job, Dean Cox?
100%. I think it's all well and good to say that now while the Swans are going into the finals, but when it comes to the crunch time at the end of the year, they're going to ask him the question, they're going to ask him to interview, and I think it's a big call for him to say, no, I'm not interested.
There we go. All right, back to matters here. It is a 16-point lead, the Giants over the Gold Coast Suns. Half-time at the Sydney Showground. It's still very windy. There's still the tsunami warning. There was a sub made in that second term. Isaac coming off. Xavier O'Halloran on. No movement as far as the Gold Coast Suns at sub with Will Graham still to enter the game. Can the Gold Coast Suns find their way back in from 16 points down? Let's see how this second half plays out on ABC Sport. You're back with Daniel Garb.
The margin probably flatters the Giants a little bit, 16 points. Gold Coast inaccurate on the balance of play. You could argue they deserve to be level, searching for their first away win of the season. They are well and truly in this one at the Showground Stadium, Damien Hardwick's side. The Giants looking for 3 on the bounce as they just slowly restore their premiership credentials. The second half getting underway now. Kieran Briggs and Ned Moyle dancing around the centre circles in the middle. Ball is bounced. Moyle with the leap, palms it down to Anderson. Free kick from the umpire, and it's going the way. Nobody really knows who it's going to. It'll be a Giants free kick. A Gold Coast free kick. I'm not sure why advantage wasn't paid, because they were away there.
Kieran Briggs took his eyes off the ball.
Moyle kicks them deep into attack. Buckley does well against Ben King, wins it clean, runs away from King, kicks to right half back. McAndrew came up from defence and punched it forward. Perryman was tackled. Andrew just keeps it in at left half forward for the Suns. McAndrew balks around a couple of times and now centres it. Wonderful composure from that talent out of defence for the Suns, and Sam Flanders has marked it at centre half forward.
He goes inside 50 here for Gold Coast, a little too wide and long for Jed Walter, and it bounced out of bounds for a throw-in.
How good's this kid, McAndrew?
Very entertaining to watch, isn't he? I mean, he reads the ball very, very well in the air, but there to show some great footwork and composure with it to find the players inside was fantastic.
Stoppage inside 50 for Gold Coast, trying to peel back this 16-point buffer the Giants' way. Ball bounced out towards Ward in the back pocket as both rucks missed it. High kick beyond defensive. 50 goes down the throat of Dave Swallow.
That really looked like it held up in the air, that kick from Tom Green. Poppy might have a better idea on this, but it looks like the wind...
No, she's got no idea. Poppy, what's the wind doing down there?
It actually died down for just a second, and it's, of course, picked back up again, going across the ground now. But the goalpost is stationary currently.
Okay. Let's see if Dave Swallow can split those stationary goalposts here. He kicks from 50, he just sort of sets it up. He kicks into the breeze, so it's gone just held up there for Buckley in defence, who can kick beyond defensive 50. Riccardi parks himself under it. Spoil comes from Collins. Andrew dispossessed as Green comes up with it. Toby for the Giants, and now Brent Daniels Off to Thomas. They peel away here through. Tom Green bursts through. Shares it out wide to Riccardi. Hand pass back to his captain. And Green can kick up in the air again on the wing.
Very high ball. Mac Andrews camped underneath it and he marks on his chest. Again, showing that wonderful composure to mark at left half back. The Giants were just threatening to burst away from half back.
They were off through the middle and Tom Green shifted the handball outside.
Suns held him up well too. Briggs and Moyle punch it away to centre half forward for the Suns. To Kocius. Handball to Flanders. And now to Closey. Kicks into the pocket looking for Ben King. Buckley was right there with him. Stopped him from marking it. And then Lloyd Johnson wraps up Fonte. Ball up, right forward pocket for Gold Coast.
No change to our halftime scoreline. Giants by 16. ABC Radio, News Radio, the ABC Listen app. Moyle uncontested in the ruck, only as far as Tom Green, who just bustles through a tackle. Kicks up towards halfback. Swallows spoils Brent Daniels. At the drop, Tom Green overruns the football. Anderson there tries to gather here for the Gold Coast, and the Peatling it is who's collected will board up again.
Unlucky not to get a free kick there. Anderson tried to pick up the ball. Looked like Tom Green tripped him.
This time Briggs can feed it down towards Tom Green. Dispossessed though. Johnston for Gold Coast. Tips it out wide. Himmelberg steps inside the Closey tackle. And now Ward running boundary side. Shares it with Tom Green, who can just send it clear of danger. Up to the wing where Hogan gives a shove down there on Ballard. Hogan shares it with Peatling. Wide now back to Daniels. Spills it. It's a hot footy now for Bedford. Back to Jesse Hogan from the bullseye.
Hogan kicks to right half forward and spears it to Riccardi on the chest. Has some movement inside 50. Decides to go wider to Perryman. 60 out from goal. He's got Harvey Thomas short. Chooses to go to him now. In fact, it's to Callaghan instead. He's marked it just outside attacking 50. Plays on. Here's Thomas. Just hooks it over his shoulder with his left. High ball inside 50. Hogan punches it away. It might set up for Daniels. It does for Toby Green. Over his head. What a goal, Toby Green! The Giants superstar. He's back to goal. Kicked it straight over his head and through. Two incredible majors from the Giants skipper.
I'm seeing Peter Wilson.
I wanted to say like a cork in the ocean, but that would be copying Dennis Canetti. It was reminiscent of that famous goal in the 1992 Grand Final. That is magic from Toby Green.
Yeah, Macarena. That is, I'll tell you what, the quick thinking, no one else but Toby Green there, Sato, can be doing that, and just the excitement, the energy that's given the GWS Giants going back to this centre bounce. Tell you what a star. Two great goals today from him.
Two incredible goals. He hasn't really been able to find any free ball the rest of the day except two incredible goals.
Doesn't need to.
No.
Good record against the Suns. 11 goals in his previous 3 games against Gold Coast, Toby Green. Now 2 more today. Both classy finishes as Tom Green wins the clearance now for the Giants. Stumps it inside 50. Hogan on the lead. Spills it down low. Jones bursts by though. Crumbs it. Toby Green tips it wide. Daniels was clobbered by Holman. Umpire lets them play. Bedford goes to retrieve it now, takes Uland. Brody Uland wins it away here for Gold Coast. Out to Perryman on the flank, and now it's come off Humphrey's shoe on the full. I'm not sure that was his intention, Bailey Humphrey. Just ricocheted off his boot, so it's going to be a Giants ball attacking side of the wing with Perryman. Giants lead by 22 points.
Brett Daniels unlucky not to get a free kick inside 50 there too. Had his head ripped off.
Centering ball inside 50 from Perryman. Hogan marks! What a start to this third term from the Giants. Hogan will kick from 20 out directly in front for his third. And there wasn't enough defensive attention applied to him there.
It certainly was. That was a very, Sato, you could talk to this as well, but we like seeing the ball kick to the top of the goal square to see our forwards run and jump at it. But Jesse Hogan was stuck under that football for a few minutes, it looked like, and not one Gold Coast Suns player applied some body and pretty much took an uncontested mark.
Yeah, Ballard tried to come in, make contact. He only had eyes for Hogan. Probably need to keep his eyes on the ball. He might have intercepted.
He's breaking away from Ben King in outright seconds in the race for the Coleman medal. Jesse Hogan. Ooh. He's got 3 goals for the game. And he's made it a 5-goal game in favour of GWS. They are 10-1-61. The Gold Coast Suns 4-9-33. And the 2 superstars inside 50. Toby Green and Jesse Hogan with back-to-back majors.
Yeah, and the catalyst probably this quarter for the Giants has been Tom Green. He's won about 3 clearances, had 5 possessions already through this quarter. He's really lifted his game. I mean, he's had a terrific game in the first half, but he's really kicked it up a notch through this third quarter so far too. And I mean, nothing pretty about the Giants, but they're just comfortably managing to kick goals, aren't they, to keep this lead and keep Gold Coast at bay.
Correct, but the last couple of centre bounces that the Gold Coast Suns have lost their structure. Their sweeper behind the ball has got sucked in, and Green's been able to get a clearance at the front.
The voice of Cal Sinclair alongside Jason Saddington on ABC Sport. Saturday afternoon footy. But the Giants kick away from here. 28 points is their game high lead and growing. Back in the middle, Moyle beats Briggs. Down to Flanders. Anderson just thumps it high inside forward 50. Deep to the pocket now. Ben King has Buckley up in front. Iden mops up in defence. Whitfield off to the run of Fonte. And it's ricochets out towards Ward. Slips the tackle of Holman. And now again they go away through Whitfield to Fonte. Walks back infield. Shares it with Ward. Rookie and veteran. Peatling lost it behind. Left it behind. Holman again with Flanders, and now Fonte slaps it back. Holman tries again. Run down from behind by Peatling. The umpire says we'll ball up somehow. At right half forward for Gold Coast. Left half back the Giants, who lead by 28 points. 8 gone third term. ABC Sport.
Unlucky not to be holding the ball there on Holman. It's with Budrick now. Well done by Brent Daniels to see him over the boundary line. So Toby Green, 11 goals in his last 4 games now. He's, after a slow start to the season, on a bit of a hot streak.
Speaking of teams kicking away, St Kilda doing that to West Coast. Now lead by 32 points at Docklands midway through that third quarter. We'll keep you across all of that as it becomes a little more despairing for West Coast fans.
Giants lead by 28 over here. Briggs and Moyle on the wing doing the ruck work. Ward dived in, and a strong tackle by Bedford on Noah Anderson, who is tagging Anderson today, Bedford. Anderson, just the 14 disposals, hasn't really been able to break this game open like he likes to do. Bedford are well in control of that contest.
Up it goes. Briggs and Moyle both missed it. Anderson burst through, run down by Bedford, and the umpire will ball it up on the outer wing of the Sydney Showground.
He's kept him in check, just more in terms of the pressure he puts on him when he does win the ball, Anderson. Hasn't had that real influence of using the ball well.
Whitfield wrapped up by Weller. A couple of Lockies locked up. And now Briggs and Moyle go at it again. Peatling wraps up Flanders. Too high, says the umpire. So a free kick going Gold Coast way on the outer wing.
Flanders been very busy. He's up to 23. This will be his 24th touch.
Let's go centrally to Will Powell in game 100.
He's done a great job on Toby Green, except for the 2 miraculous goals Green's kicked.
Powell goes short to Yuland, who just marked it at centre-half forward before Darcy Jones had closed on him. Yuland will kick long into attack, straight down the corridor. Ben King with the sit and the grab.
Oh,
no, he just dropped it right at the end. As he came down with it, it looked amongst the body of players. It'll be a boundary throw in left forward pocket. Amongst the body of players, if he just brought it down. But right at the end, he lost the handle on it. Would have been a great grab. They'll have a boundary throw in deep in attack for the Suns, who trail by 28 points.
Looks a bit sore too after that contest as well, Ben King.
Umpire tosses it back in. Moyle wins it down, clears a path for Rowell, takes on O'Halloran, and again, the umpire says in fact play on at the end. Goes closer to goal here, the Gold Coast Suns. Iden sends it back the other way, but Mac Andrews slides into mark, intercepting it left half forwards. The Suns lock the footy in. Can they find a goal and whittle away at this margin? King leads to full forward. Tap down towards Tom Green. O'Halloran can rebound off half-back here for the Giants. Only as far as Powell. Toby Green came late with the contest. A little too late, says the umpire. That's with the milestone man, Will Powell.
Front-on contact from Toby Green. Jack Buckley really slow to get up inside defensive 50 for the Giants. Trainer goes out to him, but has now moved away. Well done by Hogan to spoil the kick that was directed for Flanders at centre-half forward for the Suns. They win it back, though. Ballard with a spearing effort. It'll bounce in attack for Gold Coast. Perryman tracks back and gathers it. Bounced off a body. It fell the way of Ash. Now Whitfield. He got the hands free. And then Ash is caught by Johnston. Wasn't holding the ball. Fair shout for that for the Suns. And then Peatling's handball bounces off the feet of Mac Andrew and over for a boundary throw in left half forward for Gold Coast, who are really applying some good pressure now. They're trailing by 28, but staying in the fight here at the Showground Stadium.
We do see teams come from 5-6 goals down here in this modern game. Back in it comes Briggs, down to Tom Green. Shares it back to his ruckman. Briggs just thumps it on his boot, high back to the wing. Andrew back with the flight. Look out. Hogan coming the other way. Andrew is down, but getting up quickly. That was a fair contest, a courageous one from certainly Mac Andrew.
Well, I tell you what, Mac Andrew, great contest there from both players, but that's the sort of stuff you show on a Monday to your team about courage and
back with the fly of the ball. Unbelievable.
Giants by 28. Morley out of the ruck, uncontested. Sweeping hand pass wide. Fonte beats Johnston to the football here. Off half back they go, the Giants. Callahan dummies the hand pass back to Joe Fonte. He is smoking Joe. Burns away from Johnston. Lost the footy in the end. Picked up here in the middle by the Suns and Rowell. They go inside forward 50 and Long leads up and marks. 40 out directly in front.
I was unlucky for Joe Fonte. He really took the game on, got through a small gap, took a bounce and just left it behind, which allowed Flanders to pick up the loose ball. A very clever kick from Flanders. He lowered his eyes and hit up short on Long rather than blazing away. Smart kick.
Ben Long, recent 100-gamer himself. Picked his 50th career goal earlier in the game. Here he is with a set shot with a few steps. And not quite the finish. He misses to the right-hand side. The Suns can't afford to miss too many of those in this second half. 4:10:34 is their score. GWS a 10-1-61. 13 gone third term. Saturday afternoon footy on ABC Sport.
Himmelberg goes long, looking for Buckley. The kick was too strong for him, but then the player out there lost it in Jeffrey, and Buckley was able to gather. Handball to Bedford. A little one over the top for Darcy Jones. He goes one further to Toby Green. It just set up for him, though. The bounce didn't favour Green. And Ballard was able to intervene. Now the Suns can rebound. The quick ball from Flanders to Anderson was almost lost by Gold Coast. They regather it, though. Anderson's kick to half forward. Clean bowls Harry Perryman. The wind is really impacting play. Perryman gathers it, and then Johnston catches Lockie Ash. He got the hands free, though. Somehow, Ash to Iden. And now Perryman on his left looks for a target up the wing. He's turned it over straight to Nick Holman. It is scrappy, but it is pacey.
Holman puts the Suns back inside 50. Long leads into space, and it goes on the... Oh, it's out of bounds on the full. So it was, in fact, still in play before Long socketed it over the boundary line. So it's back here with the Giants ball. Just didn't see... You didn't see Johnson coming out of the shadows, did he?
That's twice now Lockie Ash has done it. I reckon he's got the blinkers on today.
Yeah. Just where that change of light from bright sunshine to the shadow of the members' stand is where he lost Lloyd Johnson hot on his hammer. So it remains here. 27 points the Giants lead. Perryman receives it. Has a bounce. Switches back members' side. Kicks towards O'Halloran, who takes a strong mark. In front of Poppy Penny's broadcast position. Coming back infield now for Harry Himmelberg. On the logo members' side. Giants 10-1, been accurate. Gold Coast not so. 4-10 as Himmelberg plays on here. Up towards the flank. Big lead from Cadman. Couldn't quite finish. Collins off to Powell. They're away here, the Gold Coast Suns. Oh, it's a hot footy here. Ash chasing after it.
They've turned it over. Callahan gathers it. Handball to Tom Green to right half forward. No Halloran tries to poke it over the top. Kicked it straight to Will Powell, who was in front of Cadman.
That's the kick there where you've got to go top of the goal square. Jesse Hogan was calling for it long. And he's making a terrific contest too.
50 metres against GWS. So Will Powell will bring the ball into the middle of the ground and he'll play on now and have a bounce. Cadman's right with him though. Needs to get rid of it. Kicks inside 50. Johnston over his head. Inside attack for the Suns. And then Buckley's wrapped up by Ben Long. Got the handball free to Wyden. Now Fonte assesses his options. Kicks wide and over the top. It sits up nicely for James Peatling, who marks over the back of the pack on the wing.
It was goal side, but he slows things down. Kick comes to Cadman, awkwardly gathered here. Back to Peatling, who burst by. Under pressure from Mac Andrew. Hand pass now picked off by Collins. Back to Swallow before Toby Green dumps him like a shearer on a stubborn sheep. Over the boundary line, Toby Green on Dave Swallow, and we'll throw it back in on the junction of 50 at half forward to the Giants.
That was sharp, Spriggy. I like that.
27 points remains the Giants lead here. By the way, it's out to 33 points, the Saints over West Coast at Docklands, so the less said the better if you're a West Coast fan. If Raoul bursts the tackle here, Flanders involved, and now Hewland comes back to Flanders. Sexton boundary side, hand pass here, can release that man running by in Dave Swallow. Back with the flight, Moyle. Iden was positioned well here. Shares it with Ash, and the Giants are away from centre half back.
They're looking good out of defence at the moment, the Giants. Iden and Ash standing up. Bouncing ball on the outer wing. Doing well is Jeffrey opposed to McMullen. Won that contest, but then his handball goes straight to Darcy Jones, who looks for Callan Ward. Ballard wraps him up, though. And we'll have a ball up on the outer side. GWS 10-1-61, Gold Coast 14-34. It feels like the game's in the balance, boys. It feels like Gold Coast are ready to potentially peg back this margin, or the Giants could break it open. It's in a holding pattern right now.
17 going third term. As Garby said, 27 points, but the Suns staying with them. Hand pass comes to Toby Green. Burns away from Ballard. On the half volley here for Jesse Hogan. All could pick up, couldn't get there. McMullen does, though. Sends a hand pass inboard, no one in particular. Cadman gets there first. Toby Green still running. Snaps on the run. Pulls it back a little too far to the right-hand side for a minor score, Toby Green. So it's 10-62. Greater Western Sydney leading Gold Coast 4-10-34. 17 gone third term.
Now, Peter from Esperance would have appreciated that reference to shearing and sheep just a second ago.
Exiting kick from
very good.
Defensive 50 from Gold Coast. Closely is wrapped up by Tom Green. 26 disposals for Green, 24 for Berryman. It's been really busy across half-back for GWS. They lead by 28 points. And some tired bodies fall on the football again as we get closer to three-quarter time. 18 and a half minutes gone in the third term. GWS lead by 28 points. Saturday afternoon footy on ABC Sport. Here's Brett Sprigg.
Plenty of sheep country out in the Riverina, where, of course, is the Giants' zone. There's a few out there listing. Comes back in here. Tom Green, Ash. On the entry here for the Giants. Deep inside 50. Hogan was being held. Ballard shares it with Powell in defence for the Suns. Not done yet. They can't clear. Collins slides in and he's dumped. In fact, he sort of turns tackler on that man with the ball down there, McMullen. So we'll throw it back in alongside the left behind post.
So the Perrymans, sheep family.
Yep.
Back in the Riverina.
Colin Gully.
Yep.
So stoppage inside 50 here for GWS, who lead by 28 points as we approach time on here in this third quarter. Back in it comes. Moyle and Riccardi in the ruck. Tom Green tracks it towards the line. Keeps it alive. Cal Ward steps inside Butterick, still going. Shrugs a second tackle. Centering ball up here. Sexton rises there for Gold Coast. Second bite, he's paid the grab.
Sexton back into the side after being dropped for the win over Port Adelaide. Goes down the corridor and is marked by Ned Moyle. Need the next one, the Suns. Moyle to Flanders, Swallow, and now Weller from 52. Long raking kick, it'll miss to the right-hand side and through for a behind. It'll be out of bounds on the full. It's hit the behind post. So 28 points is the margin. It remains that. 4-10-34 Gold Coast. They've been wasteful. The Giants 10-2-62.
Whitfield again, beyond defensive, 50 to find Fonte. Whitfield's now 23 disposals. Joe Fonte back to Whitfield. Here's disposal number 24. And the experienced campaigner up to half forward. Cadman rises. Briggs keeps it moving here with a knockout towards paint of 50. Well there, shares it with Yuland, and now Andrew Ballard. Couple of steps, and the Suns can go back to the members' wing. Unkind bounce for Whitfield. Coming through again. This time O'Halloran sends it deep inside 50. Wants to find Toby Green. Collins up there first. Ballard collected by Cadman. Will ball up on the logo of the 50 there at the Giants attacking end. Poppy on the boundary.
Yeah, the Gold Coast Suns have made their sub. Joel Jeffrey has come off and Will Graham is about to be subbed into the game.
Palm down by Briggs. Rao does so well to break free of a couple of tackles. But then his kick goes straight to Harry Himmelberg in the middle of the ground. Himmelberg will play on, kick long into attack. Riccardi with the leap, off hands. Harvey Thomas is there, so is Darcy Jones. The Suns defenders come away with it through Butterick to Flanders. With a looping handball, gives it back to Butterick, who kept running. Anderson can't get hands on the football. Lockie Ash is right with him, and Ash, in fact, it'll be a free kick to Anderson, who was felled by Joe Fonte. So 28 points the margin. Free kick to Gold Coast on the outer wing on the logo.
I reckon we uttered Joel Jeffrey's name maybe one time in the game so far. If you told me he had 7 disposals, I think it was probably 5 too many. So he's been subbed out for the Gold Coast Suns. With Will Graham in the action, as Penny said a short time ago. Weller marks here just forward of halfway on the outer side. Can they chip away at this 28-point buffer the Giants' way? Up inside 50. Himmelberg in defence. Swallow roves the pack here. Shares it with Flanders. Gets the hand pass away. Anderson. Hurried kick goes up and across the teeth of goal. Closey. Humphrey in there as well. Peatling receives it here for the Giants. O'Halloran back to Whitfield. The Giants are away.
Whitfield up to the wing. Cadman's underneath it. Worked his way to the front, but Ballard got a hand in and punched it away nicely. Ball in dispute in the middle of the ground. Moyle gathers it to Flanders for possession number 33 to Flanders, but they've turned it over the Suns. Bedford comes away with it. Squeezes a kick to left half forward where Toby Green is marked. The Giants captain goes wider to Callan Ward. Marks on his chest. Now the Suns get back in numbers. So Ward goes short to Lockie Ash at centre half forward. Laterally he goes to Whitfield, who can play on here and have a look at goal from 55 out. Instead he'll just pop it over the top to Xavier O'Halloran, who is marked, and will surely have a set shot from 40 out on a slightly worse than 45-degree angle. Thought about giving it to Riccardi, but will now go back for the set shot down to Poppy Penny.
Yes, Sam Closey is coming off in a world of pain, and of course the Gold Coast Suns have already made their sub, so he's in the hands of trainers and it looks like a left upper leg injury.
It's a worry for the Suns. Xavier O'Halloran came on because Isaac Cumming was subbed off with a hamstring issue. Set for his 10th disposal. He's had an impact, Xavier O'Halloran. This for his first goal of the game is just across the face. It's a nice strike, but draws a bit too much. The margin is out to 29 points in favour of the Giants. 23.5 minutes gone in the third term.
It's probably the first clean shot on goal we've seen for a while. It's been a real arm wrestle between the arcs, hasn't it? Both teams, every time they're going inside 50, the opposition are able to repel and send it back out, but no one's had clean shots on goal just yet.
29 points the margin, as Daniel Gard mentioned. On the members' side, Whitfield at the back, shares it with O'Halloran, cocked up the footy. Johnston bursts by as Graham dumps O'Halloran the tackle. The footy comes loose for a throw-in.
You mentioned Ned Moyle before being too good to play in the reserves. I reckon Xavier Halloran's another one.
Yep.
Whenever he plays in the AFL, I wonder why he's not in the team every week.
His first game today since round 15 against the Swans, the Derby. And the sub to good effect here, Xavier O'Halloran. Here's Whitfield, shares it with Callahan as he went to ground. Picked off here by Rowell of the Suns. Tumbles it back to half forward. It missed Himmelberg, and now Buckley off balance with a kick. Slews out towards O'Halloran. Pressure though comes down there from Holman on the loose footy. Lukosius tracks back to centre up forward. Thumps it down towards the pocket. Iden there in defence for the Giants. Gets away from Walter, and Connor Iden shares a hand pass with Ash. Needs options, comes back members' side towards centre half back where he finds Callahan. Giants keep a 29-point lead.
Callahan has a couple of options out wide. It's a 2-on-1. Mac Andrew did well though to halve the contest against McMullen. Just knock it to ground. Suns on the wing. Yulden goes wide of Mac Andrew. It's a poor kick. And we'll have a boundary throw in on the wing in front of the Giants bench as Tom Green comes back on. Cal Ward goes off. Whitfield and Green with 28 disposals for the Giants. Sam Flanders, 33 for the Suns in a breakout season for him.
Umpire tosses it back in members' side. Briggs and Moyle in the ruck, as has been the case all day. Rowell brought to ground by Daniels, and the umpire says, yep, holding the ball. It's not often Matt Rowell has got the better of as far as tackling. And here's the comp's leading tackler. But Daniels equal to the task. Pops it now in to find Peatling. He was sub 3 weeks in a row, James Peatling. Full 4 quarters today. Or at least 3 and counting. Goes high towards the hot spot for the Giants. Hogan wants separation. Collins with a defective spoil. At ground level here, Thomas spun to ground. The umpire will blow it up.
The more I think about it, Garb, with Xavier O'Halloran, reminds me of a Ben Keys. You know, maybe he might need to go to a different club and be a bit more of a central focus for them.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if his name is mentioned when it comes to trade talk at the end of the season, despite him being under contract. Holman's under pressure. Right back pocket. Well done by Yulden to try and get free, and then he copped a high one from Harvey Thomas. So a free kick to the Suns, who trail by 29 points. They've been better than that, really, but they've kicked 4-10. That's been their issue. Still in this game. They'll have to get going, though, early in the last term as the Giants win it back on the wing. Through the hands of Perryman it went. It's picked up by Himmelberg. Looks for Brent Daniels in game 100. Couldn't mark it. Connor Budrick's done a nice job across half-back for the Suns. He picked it up, gave it to Moyle, but he kicked to a 2-on-1. Sexton won that contest, though. Handballs it back to Mac Andrew. Watch out, David Swallow. There was a giant coming. Now they work their way off half-back, and Swallow's able to gather it after Yulin was tackled.
Just hurries it towards half-forward here. Swallow for the Suns. Picked off here. Lukosius wide to Humphrey. Goes inside 50, and it's too wide for Ben King. Out of bounds for a throw-in. In the left forward pocket for Gold Coast. Poppy on the boundary.
Closey's been on the exercise bike. It looks like it's a quad, but he does look to be in quite a lot of pain. There's also some issues with the video on the scoreboard, so maybe still lingering from the outage yesterday.
Yeah, it's frozen and still buffering. It's like an old YouTube video. Back in it comes down towards O'Halloran first hands to it. Slips the tackle of Humphrey. Runs out of room for a throw-in. So both subs having been made. As you heard from Poppy earlier, Joel Jeffrey off. Will Graham now on, but Closey, some injury concerns for him. Umpire tosses it back in late in this third quarter. Giants control the game. Whitfield, underground hand pass for O'Halloran. Under pressure though from Walter. Comes to Himmelberg. The umpire spotted a throw, and it will come back the Gold Coast Suns' way. So the pressure a little too much for the Giants in that situation. Couldn't make a clean exit without an illegal disposal, so it's going to be here Ben King taking a shot after the three-quarter time siren to potentially find what would be his first goal of the afternoon. So he still hasn't kicked his first goal, Ben King, having lost second spot in the Coleman medal. He now sits third out right behind Hogan and, of course, Curnow. Ben King, very important goal this, to give the Gold Coast Suns the last say before the final change. Slight distance, slight angle to the left, and he's missed the lot. He's missed the lot to the right. That is just not Ben King's day, and that now makes the Gold Coast Suns 4-11-35. That had two more scoring shots than the Giants, who were 10-3-63. So the home side leads by 28 points at the final change. Goal kickers, Jesse Hogan has 3, as I mentioned, he now has 48 goals on the year. 2 goals each for Brent Daniels and Toby Green, both stunners from the Giants skipper. Singles to Darcy Jones, Harry Perryman and Harvey Thomas. Meanwhile, for the Gold Coast Suns, Jack Lukosius has 2, and they did not kick a goal in that third term, with Lockie Weller and Ben Long also on the board earlier. On ABC Radio, News Radio and the ABC Listen app, the Giants lead by 28 points here. This is Saturday afternoon footy on ABC Sport.
Recent Royal Commission findings reveal that 68% of Australians in residential aged care are at risk of malnutrition or are malnourished.
Join Maggie Beer, laying the table for change.
We'll revamp the entire dining experience. It will give us a model to share Australia-wide.
Maggie Beer's big mission.
It's everything we could ask for.
Streaming all episodes now. Always free, always entertaining on ABC iView.
This is ABC Sports coverage of the 2024 AFL season. Every match on the ABC Listen app.
Look for the AFL button.
High ball inside 50. Hogan punches it away. It might sit up for Daniels. It does for Toby Green. Over his head. What a goal, Toby Green! The Giants superstar. He's back to goal. Kicked it straight over his head and through. 2 incredible majors from the Giants skipper.
I'm seeing Peter Wilson.
I wanted to say like a cork in the ocean.
And Macarena.
Centering ball inside 50 from Perryman. Hogan marks! What a start to this third term from the Giants. Hogan will kick from 20 out directly in front for his third.
Jesse Hogan was stuck under that football for a few minutes, it looked like, and not one Gold Coast Suns player applied to the body and pretty much took an uncontested mark.
He's breaking away from Ben King in outright seconds in the race for the Coleman medal. Jesse Hogan. He's got 3 goals for the game.
Yeah, the Gold Coast Suns have made their sub. Joel Jeffrey has come off and Will Graham is about to be subbed into the game.
The 2024 AFL Premiership season.
On your radio.
ABC Sport Digital.
And on the ABC Listen app.
Three-quarter time in Sydney. Very important game this for the Giants and the Suns. Not just the Expansion Cup, the AFL's 2 youngest clubs, but the Giants have a place in the top 4 awaiting them, while the Gold Coast Suns potentially a place in the 8 if they can overcome their wayward finishing at goal and this 28-point lead to Greater Western Sydney, the home side, at the final change. Meanwhile at Docklands, It is three-quarter time there. St Kilda leads West Coast by 34 points. 10-9 plays 5-5. Later on, Hawthorn, Collingwood at the MCG. And much later on, Geelong and the Bulldogs at Kardinia Park. Port Adelaide, Richmond at Adelaide Oval. But to matters here at the Sydney Showground, your experts are former Swan and Blue, Jason Saddington, and former Eagle and Swan, Callum Sinclair.
Well, there's probably not a lot to report from that quarter, apart from maybe a bit of Toby Green magic again to kick that goal over his shoulder. It was a real arm wrestle between the arcs. Both teams struggling to get any clear shots on goal and any real efficiency going inside 50. It was played between the arcs, and not a lot really took place. Not a lot sort of came out of the quarter. I mean, Gold Coast just continue to really struggle with that inside 50 kick, being able to find a target or at least get players to drop of the ball. I feel like every time they've gone inside their 50, the Suns, the Giants are just able to win that loose ball and take it back out. We've seen Lockie Whitfield, especially through that quarter, get plenty of ball to just run it back out of D50. But on the flip side, I mean, the Giants haven't been that efficient going inside 50 at all that quarter either. So, I mean, the game's... The 5-goal lead's probably the key for the Giants as to where the game sits. It's a good lead considering it's probably been an even contest in way the teams have won the footy and the opportunities they've had.
Well, the quality of entries for both teams haven't been too dissimilar. You don't want to say and don't want to point guys out, but Ben King, it's just frustrating. He's had a lot of shots on goal, particularly in that range of like 20 to 30 out where you should be knocking those over as a key forward. And I'll take your point with the wind and the conditions out there. It might be difficult, but at this level, with where they're at, unfortunately, he has cost them in front of goal today, which has been very disappointing. We've had a few freakish moments from Toby Green, but couldn't agree more. The game is definitely played between the arcs, and you'd think, Sato, that if the Gold Coast Suns are wanting to pinch this game, they definitely have to hit the scoreboard within the first couple of minutes of this quarter. And you'd be looking at the midfield. I thought Ned Moyle, after quarter time, he's been super. He's had about 8 clearances today, I think it is. I'll tell you what, Sato, you're a junior coach out there. If you're talking about cleanliness, strength around the ball, keeping your feet, watch Matt Rowe's tape. I think he's not the cleanest disposal of player, but the way he just, he must do so much touch and extras in his spare time because his, I guess, just general nous and feel and touch around the contest is just superb. And it's very hard to tackle, and it just stands out.
Absolutely. And on the flip side too, with the Giants, Tom Green, very similar player, who was set that quarter alight early. Interesting to see who can take the chance this quarter.
Into the final term we go on ABC Sport. Let's see if Gold Coast can strike first and make something of this game. Otherwise, the Giants may close it out. Briggs and Moyle in the middle. Went it to the outside. Flanders got a shove from Tom Green. Umpire was all over that one. Free kick, Gold Coast.
Possession number 34 for Sam Flanders. 7 clearances, 5 inside 50s. That wasn't his best effort, though. Put Hewlin under pressure. Darcy Jones with the tackle. Bouncing ball on the outer side. Weller has it. Gave it back to Closey, who had his back turned to him. Enough time to gather, though, and hand it back to Weller, who spots up Flanders on the wing for his 35th touch.
On the live ladder, Giants up to 3rd, albeit with most of the round still to play. But that's what's at stake for them, a place in the top 4.
Flanders short to Will Graham. The sub on for Joel Jeffrey. Giants back in numbers, so Graham's kick is to a contest, and the Giants win it back through Ash and Tom Green. Green got it from Peatling. High ball, inside 50. Ballard camped underneath it. Takes the mark at left half back.
Cal, interesting Sam Flanders, the 2 possessions he had to start this quarter, he just went directly from corridor out wide towards the boundary with a kick. It's hard to win the game doing that.
Ballard thumps it clear to the outer side. Himmelberg controls it for a second anyway, and then Briggs follows up, shares it with Himmelberg. Underground hand pass left behind by Darcy Jones. Handball picked off now by Flanders via Weller. Gets it back to Weller, does Flanders, and Weller goes back towards the 50 here for the Suns. No one's back there except Connor Iden and Jack Buckley in defence. They wax the footy, and now it comes back to the outer wing. Weller into the back of Ash. Darcy Jones tries to paddle it to advantage. He wraps up the much bigger Moyle, brings him down, the little man, and will ball it up again.
Well, I couldn't agree more, Sato. If you're the Gold Coast Suns, you need to be taking risks. Your season's on the line, and you want to play in September.
Moyle punches it clear. Will Graham gets free of the Tom Green tackle, but Bedford's right there on Anderson, as he has been all day. And then with an excellent second effort, wrapped up Graham. A shout for holding the ball. It'll be a ball up. A tackle brought Will Graham to the ground. I wonder if Toby Bedford just had a bit of deja vu after what happened on Tim Taranto and that ordeal during the week. No issue there, I think it's fair to say, as Whitfield picks it up just backward of the wing. Handball wide to Ward, who spears one to Tom Green. Possession number 31 for him, inside 50. Toby Green couldn't mark. Ballard spoiled it away from him. And then when the ball was in the air, grabbed it and took the mark in the left back pocket.
28 points remains that Giants lead. No change to our three-quarter time score. As the Suns come beyond defensive 50, up to meet the football was Lukosius. And in space though, Ward slips the closey tackle, so he's back out there. Cal Ward, free kick advantage paid. High ball inside 50, a little too deep for Hogan. Got some contact from Collins from behind, and now Toby Green is wrapped up down there by Weller. Umpire says, give it to me.
Jesse Hogan was screaming for the free kick. The ball hadn't even hit the deck yet. He was calling for it.
3 goals today for Jesse Hogan. Still this last quarter to go. Left behind by Anderson. Green bursts through. Toby the skipper. Hand pass picked off by Yulin. He's wrapped up by Jones. And now Anderson to Collins. The Suns can get away through Powell. And now a short kick to find Flanders.
Here they go off half-back. They need one urgently, the Suns. Swallow to Weller, who tries to get away from Buckley. Buckley catches him. Got the handball free. That was brilliant work by Jack Buckley to win that contest in the middle of the ground and ensure that the handball went the way of the Giants, who work it out to Peatling now. He goes inboard to Bedford, just behind left half forward. He's got a man in the pocket in Daniels, who has been spotted and is marked overhead. He'll kick from 50 on a tight angle to the left, but Jack Buckley, what a chase in the middle of the ground on Lockie Weller.
That's trademark stuff there, Garbs, and I think that's something that Kings will be showing on the Monday review, because that is just outstanding, game-winning type of stuff and September-worthy.
Saints out to a 53-point lead over West Coast as Daniels chooses to centre it for Briggs. He couldn't mark, but then just try to knock it forward as he hit the ground. Jones is there, and he's well tackled by Lockie Weller. Ball up, 25 out from the Giants' goals, straight in front.
4.5 gone final term. No change to our three-quarter time margin. Briggs picked up the ball clean. It was left behind by Moyle and others. And now Graham, who debuted last time these sides met. Andrew competes with Toby Green. Toby Green goes the same over the head again, but only arrives short this time to Andrew. Sweeping hand pass wide. Flanders to Closey. The Suns are away off half back. It works it okay here for Swallow. In his 236th AFL game, the club games record holder and former captain. They keep pressing here, Gold Coast in attack to Ben Long, attacking side of the wing on the outer side. They need goals and need them quickly.
Plenty of time left though, and Sam Flanders may give 50 possessions a little nudge. He's up to 38. And the kick into the pocket is caught up in the wind and out of bounds on the full from Ben Long. So a free kick to Lockie Whitfield at right half back for GWS.
Even though the Giants have got probably a substantial lead, you still want to see them take the game on. You don't want to see them go play safe football, long in the line, try and protect the lead. You really want to see if you can get a percentage boost if you can.
It's getting ugly for West Coast at Docklands Stadium. It's a free kick there, going the way of the Giants. Advantage paid on the wing to Darcy Jones, was eventually caught. Got the handball free. Will Graham with an excellent chase, and now he's spotted up Sam Flanders. Possession number 39 for him at half back.
Yeah, 59 points now, that margin for St Kilda over West Coast at Docklands early in the final term. The other sellout, we've got the close one here, I reckon. Here's Anderson going down the line. Leading up down there was Lukosius, but a free kick for a hole, which will go the Gold Coast Suns' way.
That's Whitfield's third for the game.
So Whitfield gives away the free kick. Lukosius here, back on the runway. He's directly in front, but 55 out.
Well, they need something, the Gold Coast, just to give them a sniff, Sato, you'd think.
They haven't kicked any of these all day, have they? Yeah. Any opportunity they've had, they just haven't grabbed any of them. So this is a really important kick, Lukosius. Very skillful.
He's kicked half of their goals so far today. Here he is for his third. It's away to the left-hand side, out of bounds on the full. That was another example of what the wind's doing here today. No change to the score. It's still 10-3-63 the Giants. The Suns are 4-11. No change to the score in the first 7 minutes of this final term on ABC Sport.
Himmelberg drives the Giants out of defence, looking for Hogan off hands, sits up nicely for Darcy Jones. The kid in the helmet with blistering pace, kicks GWS inside 50 and Riccardi with the sit on Collins has taken the mark. 2 disposals out of the back pocket. Himmelberg off hands, it fell to Jones. He ran away and drove it forward to Riccardi.
He reads it well, Jones, doesn't he, Sato, when he has that contest in the air, just to sag off a little bit but still being able to impact if the ball comes to the front. I think the Gold Coast Suns all day just haven't been able to kind of handle him in that situation.
This will make it difficult for Gold Coast. Jake Riccardi for his first of the game. His arms were outstretched while the ball was in midair. Never looked like missing. He's worked hard, Riccardi. He's got a goal for his efforts. And the GWS lead is out to 34 points. And it looks like being yet another away loss for Gold Coast in season 2024.
That's the difference in the game right there. Gold Coast down their end, they just haven't been able to kick their goals when they've had their opportunities. Whereas the Giants take it down the other end. Riccardi from 45, 50 in the winds, with the wind, is able to go back and kick the goal. They've just been much more efficient in taking their opportunities, the Giants, and that's why they have the lead that they've got and are able to probably comfortably just be in charge of this game from a scoreboard point of view.
I'd just love to know if there was a stat for ball spilling out the back and the small forwards being able to run onto it and impact those contests.
65 points is that lead for the Saints over West Coast at Docklands. Tim Membrey's kicked 5 goals in that game, so that's getting away from West Coast quickly. Rowler's run down from behind by Finn Callahan, in the middle of the Sydney Showground. So it'll come back the way of the Giants, who lead this game by 34. Can they close things out here? The left footer goes high inside 50. Hogan was blocked there by Ballard. I said it was okay. On the loose footy, McMullen brought to ground or balled up deep in the left forward pocket. By the way, what is in danger? So Flanders is up to now 39 touches. Caleb Sarong, the highest mark of this year, 46 back in round 1. So here is McMullen. Sharks it from the congestion. Snaps on the run. Classy finish for Toby McMullen. It's processional here for the Giants. The margin's now a clean 40. 12-3-75 plays 4-11-35. 10 minutes gone, final terms. Saturday afternoon footy on ABC Sport. Jason Saddington and Callum Sinclair.
I tell you what, that was a set play, Sato, with Riccardi just tapping it out the back, just putting it into the dangerous position. And we said that we didn't want to see the the GWS Giants play safe, but that's just a set play. Very disappointing defensive fifth and stoppage goal there for the Gold Coast Suns. And they're now at risk now of this game being an absolute blowout, and Damien Hardwick telling them to harden the...
you reckon more F-bombs are coming?
I reckon there's going to be a bit more coming if they don't kind of control this for the next 20 minutes of this game.
It was grow the F up, just by the way. Sorry. He may say harden up because it may also work.
No Josh Kelly, no Steve Coniglio, no Sam Taylor for the Giants. Yes, Tuke Miller and Jared Witts missing for Gold Coast, but this is very impressive from GWS now as Peatling wins it in the middle of the ground. He's done a good job in the absence of Kelly and Coniglio. Takes a couple of bounces, kicks to half forward, gathered by O'Halloran on the left, long ball inside 50. Well done Collins to punch away from Cadman. They have a boundary throw in left forward pocket. The Giants now leading by 40 points in search of 3 wins in a row, and I reckon there's a few teams up there, the likes of Sydney and Carlton, who are going, oh yeah, those Giants are back. They're a worry come September.
Absolutely, with a couple of players to come back as well, Garbs.
Back in it comes. Riccardi and Walter in the ruck. Slap forward here to Tom Green. Now Ward takes on the tackle there of Butterick, and he's run down holding the ball.
Ooh.
Advantage paid here off half back as the Suns can blitz away. They're still wrestling in back play here as Weller brings it inside forward 50 for the Suns. Iden back with the flight and defence. He beats Humphrey to the football. Hand pass here for Perryman. Clean pickup. Shares it with Himmelberg. Back to Iden. Has O'Halloran for company. And they're away here cleanly off half back through Lockie Ash.
Got a bit nasty between Buderick and Callan Ward as Ash takes a couple of bounces, draws a man, handballs to Daniels on the wing. That kick to Thomas put him under pressure. Closing on him was Bodie Hewland. I'm not sure if the mark was paid or if Thomas was caught high. It doesn't matter. It's the GWS ball forward of the wing. Quick handball from Thomas to Whitfield, who came off the bench, wrapped around him and kicks long inside 50. Hogan's underneath it, off hands. Darcy Jones on the snap, through for a behind. The GWS margin is out to 41. Just on the final situation, there's a few people at the Swans who are thinking, we don't want the Giants in that first final. We finish first. We don't want them finishing fourth, and all of a sudden that qualifying final becomes a derby and home ground advantage is mitigated a touch.
Oh, kicks a turnover here. The kick out goes straight to Harvey Thomas. So it was a clanger on that occasion from Connor Butterick. And Thomas marks 45 out directly in front. And they've got a long history of finals, don't they, the Giants and the Swans?
And you can kind of see what Damien Hardwick Sato kind of means about the maturity and the grow-up kind of situation that the Gold Coast Suns. You can just kind of see it around the ground with their body language. Yes. A couple of poor kicks. You can just see the energy that the Giants are really just kind of stomping on their throat at the moment. And
well, they're letting them run again too.
Yeah.
Harvey Thomas goes short here after all to go to Bedford. Contest there from Rowell. Brings it away here for Anderson. Swallow off halfback. Shares it with Graham, and now wide to Closey. Goes inside forward. 50! Ben King position well. Goes straight down his throat. And they go coast to coast quickly here, the Gold Coast Suns. King will take his set shot from 30 out in the 45-degree angle left-hand side.
He's got the yips. This is a big watch.
Yippee-yay-yay.
What is he so far today, Ben King?
2 behinds and I reckon 4 out of bounds on the full.
Yeah, he's had a couple of those at least. Ben King in the Coleman race, but not been his day today. The Gold Coast spearhead. Here he is. Starts left, comes back, stays left though. It is a minor score. So that's been the story of the day. 4 goals, 12 for the Gold Coast Suns, who trail the Giants 12-4.
It's like he's kicking a 60-degree wedge.
Yeah.
Very upright.
Yeah, trusty rusty.
No confidence at all today for Ben King. As Lockie Whitfield brings it back in for GWS. Out wide to Jesse Hogan. Off hands. The Suns go inside 50 again. Buckley just managed to work in front of Ben King, who feels like has lost all his confidence now. Didn't even compete in that contest, and Buckley was able to mark on his chest.
Short kick to Whitfield. Wins plenty of footy. 35 disposals coming up here for Lockie Whitfield, so it's been a good year for him. Lockie Whitfield, the 2-time B&F winner. Mac Andrew, though, intercepts this one on the outer wing. By the way, 66 points is St Kilda's lead at Docklands over the West Coast Eagles. Mac Andrew sends Gold Coast back inside 50. Big leap from the back, Walter. Humphrey lurking as well. Sexton there, fires on goal. The run with the outside of the boot. That's a class finish from the veteran. He's among the inclusions of experienced players, and that is a phenomenal goal from Alex Sexton. It may all well be in vain here for Gold Coast, who cut the margin back to 34 points midway through this final term.
And it took a while to get that first goal for the half, and it was just a real, I don't know, lucky, or not lucky, I mean, he meant to kick it, but a tough opportunity in Sexton just because of the class that he's got, was able to find the sticks. It's been a real grind for them to get the shots on goal. I mean, there's still time in the game. Can they manufacture some really quick goals? It's hard to see, but at least it breathes some light into it for the Gold Coast.
They might be able to, but it just seems like they're playing a bit of hopeful football at the moment. Probably comes down in the next couple of minutes to see what kind of character that the Gold Coast Suns are going to show, but at the moment it's all the Giants.
They can't kick a set shot, and Sexton from the boundary is able to slot one. 34 points the margin, and they get a second. Gold Coast, and maybe breathe some life back into this game. Bouncing ball at half forward. Whitfield did well to hold his ground and work it to Fonte. Handball over the top for O'Halloran. Tapped it in front of himself. On the wing now, puts it over the top for Bedford. Anderson there with him. Bedford left it behind, but then his handball goes straight to Harvey Thomas, who darts around Ballard and centres it beautifully for Brent Daniels. Well done, youngster. Daniels plays on quickly from 52. Long ball for Hogan. Marking on the goal line. Hogan plays on quickly to Cadman, who slams it through. Gold Coast goal, and any chance they had diluted straight away from the Giants. Thomas to Daniels, long to Hogan, and Cadman from point blank range finishes it.
And I'll tell you what I liked about Daniels there, Sato, is he just knows his forwards. He's played with Jesse Hogan a fair bit now. Just knew straight away that he was on his zone, had enough separation, weighted that kick beautifully, played on really well, and very unselfish there from Jesse Hogan just to get Cadman, who's probably competed actually quite well today. But tell you what, Thomas's little shimmy there just to break the line, attack the footy.
The pick up off his toes at pace, unbelievable. The kick inside to Daniels, classy Harvey Thomas. And you're right with Cadman. He's flown for quite a few balls. He's looked really confident in the air.
Margin back to 40 points the Giants' way. Your experts, Jason Saddington and Callum Sinclair on ABC Sport. Briggs and Moyle in the middle. Briggs follows up, just hacks it out of the air. High inside 50. Hogan out from full forward. That ball just kept travelling, and Jesse Hogan takes a pretty simple chest mark in the end.
And it's amazing what the footy gods do to you, Sato. You give one away, Briggsy just, goes to his feet, and one falls into your lap. I tell you what, unselfishness, it'll always come back to reward you. But 9 disposals, 6 contested, 3 goals. He'll go back for his 4th, and he's had a great game once again.
Jesse Hogan for the equal lead in the Coleman medal. On the approach, crosses the 50. Little stutter step. On its way, steers it through. Jesse's got 4. And it's party time out west for the Giants. 46 points the lead. 14-4 plays 5-12. 18 going final term. ABC Sport, your experts, Jason Saddington, Callum Sinclair.
You took the words right out of my mouth, Callum. It was like karma, wasn't it? Give one off, you get it back. Just from a hack out of the middle from Kieran Briggs. It just falls in your lap. He's in unbelievable form, Jesse Hogan. Unbelievable form these past few weeks. He's taking contested marks. He's looking really sharp. And another 4 goals on the board. He's having another fantastic season.
And he's gotten a lot better when Jeremy Cameron's obviously gone to Geelong. He's getting a lot more opportunity. He's getting a lot more supply. He's lived up to the end of the bargain. He's probably under-rented too.
He's played an extra game, but he's just drawn level with Charlie Curnow in the Coleman medal race on 49. He started level with Ben King today on 45. Ben King's had a shocker. 3 behinds and 3 out of bounds on the full.
He'd be going okay in their BNF too.
Hogan's kick 4. We'll go down to Poppy on the boundary in a moment as Moyle palms it down to Green, but then wraps him up. Poppy, down to you.
You touch on Ben King's game. He's come off shaking his head at everybody on the bench. He looks really disappointed with his day so far.
I mean, you don't want to point the finger at one person, but if he kicked accurately, it might have been a different game for Gold Coast early on as Rao sends one inside 50. Punched away. Whitfield tries to soccer it forward. Anderson gathers it. Centre half forward for the Suns. Throws it on the boot. Humphrey's been quiet today. Watched well by Iden. Couldn't gather it. Flanders is there. Squeezes out to Callan Ward as Ash in support. He'll snap it away from defensive 50. Powell and Green wrestling away. Done well, Will Powell in that contest. Tom Green with a punch away from defensive 50. Butterick gathers though, and on his left he's kicking for Walter. Ward managed to get in front of him. Buckley was off some assistance. Gave it to Perryman, who sends it up to the wing. Powell punches it away from Toby Green again. And then Tom Green gathers it with a handball to Ward.
Off to Finn Callahan on the wing, shows a bit of dash, and now outside to Darcy Jones. Rising start on from 2 weeks ago, goes inside 50, but it's marked by Ballard on the intercept. He was a lot in front of Cadman. Ballard just retreats back inside defensive 50 here for Weller. And now back to centre half back for Flanders. This is his 40th disposal coming up, Sam Flanders. An untidy one. Howard to go and gather under pressure from Thomas, and now around the corner from Anderson to find Hewland. Wide again to Sexton, who kicked a good goal a short time ago. Attacking side of the wing, up inside 50 to find Humphrey. Leading into the pocket and takes the mark for Gold Coast. 35 out in the 45-degree angle.
Just able to find some free space. Humphrey on his own in the pocket. Buckley probably caught napping a little bit and couldn't close it down in time. A rare sort of easy inside 50 for Gold Coast.
Bailey Humphrey, 2 goals, 1 against Port last week. No goals are given here. Starts it out to the right, and that's where it stays. If it was any further right, it would have been at the Republican National Convention watching Donald Trump yesterday. 45 points is the Giants' lead. 14-4 plays 5-13.
You've had a good day. Gags have been red hot.
Saints lead by 72 over West Coast at Docklands. Gold Coast travel to Perth to take on the Eagles in a couple of weeks. Perhaps that's where their first away win of the season will come, as they drive it up to the wing. GWS from Himmelberg. Ward is there. Long falls in the back of him, but they extract it through Rowell and then Flanders. A kick looking for Humphrey in the pocket. He's marked in front of Iden. So A couple of minutes for Bailey Humphrey on Connor Iden, who has had the better of that contest. Giants lead by 45 points. We've gone 22 minutes in the last term.
This is a tougher set shot than the one he just had. A bit closer to the boundary, but we'll see if he learned anything from the last kick he had right. Was he able to bring this one back close to the middle?
A really good player, Bailey Humphrey. You'd like to see him run more in the midfield. Spends a lot of time in attack. Kicking from a tight angle in the right forward pocket. That's a beautiful effort. He just walks away nonchalantly after slotting it from the tightest of angles. Bailey Humphrey on the board. The margin is back to 39 points in favour of the Giants, and Gold Coast just trying to restore some pride late in this game.
That was a great kick from Bailey Humphrey. He made that angle a lot more difficult for himself than what he had to do.
He ran out to the right, didn't he, and then hooked it across his body a bit.
Exactly right. But anyway, good to see a little bit of fight back here from the Gold Coast Suns, but probably a little bit unlucky there from Carl Ward going to ground. Potentially could have got a push in the back for a kick there, but it is all of the Gold Coast GWS Giants in this last quarter.
St Kilda leads by 78 at Docklands there over West Coast. So that game just closing to a whimper as far as West Coast are concerned, but big for St Kilda as far as teams that looked out of it, but they put themselves back in the frame. Adelaide with that win last night. It is just an extraordinary year, and the Giants will now find themselves back in the top 4 for the first time in a while. 39 points is their lead. Wayward bounce, now a ball up. Briggs to Bedford, dispossessed. Tom Green's kick smothered. Holman there for the Suns, shares it back with Swallow. He can put the Suns inside 50. Iden with a spoil. Had Humphrey for company. Comes down for Buckley off half-back, and now his hand pass wide for Ash, who receives it on the bounce.
Ash dashes away from Newland, has a couple of bounces, squeezes a left foot kick to half-forward. Powell leads Green to the football. He's been one of Gold Coast's best, Will Powell. Done a brilliant job on Green. His kick is short to Lukosius, who gathers it on the wing. Handball forward to Swallow. And now Newland, 55 out, centres it for Johnston, who is marked on his chest. You want to play on quickly to give Gold Coast some hope, albeit dwindling hope. Coming back into this game, he'll kick from 40 out straight in front.
Sharp kick from Newland across his body. Absolute bullet.
Lloyd Johnston for his first goal of the game. Well, if they were the slimmest of chances, they have now dissipated those. Gold Coast with a miss from Lloyd Johnston. GWS lead by 38 points. They are 14-4-88. Gold Coast 6-14-50.
Short kick, Whitfield to Buckley, and now back to Lockie Whitfield.
He's chasing Flanders' possession.
Yeah, a bit of padding wise for him. He's 39 disposals now, Lockie Whitfield. Flanders up to 41, just one shy of his career best. Iden to O'Halloran. It's a patient surge here for the Giants as a few more clouds appear. The LED lights maybe have some role to play. That's the new toy here at Sydney Showground. They love showing off. Otherwise, bright sunshine on a very windy Sydney day. Peatling goes all the way back to Iden. In these dying minutes, the Giants lead by 38 points. Himmelberg, angled kick, comes back to the members' wing to find Finn Callaghan.
Callaghan has stepped up in the absence of Kelly and Canelio. His 19th disposal, short to the milestone man in Brent Daniels. Set the Giants on their way with a couple of goals in the first term. Has it on the wing. He's been excellent again, Daniels. High ball to left half forward. Underneath it is Ballard. He got a little push in the back. In fact, it was Collins who got the push, so he'll take a free kick for Gold Coast in defensive 50. Number 1 goal assist player in the AFL, Brent Daniels. The players behind him, Bontempelli, Toby Green, Gould and Lockie Neal. That sums up how underrated he is, perhaps, as Holman's kick inside 50 is gathered by Whitfield. Possession number 40 for him with a handball to Callaghan.
And now his kick to come wide to Thomas, who also kicked a goal earlier in the game. Every game since his opening round debut against the Pies, as Daniel Garb mentioned, Harvey Thomas holds it for a moment in these dying stages on his preferred left side. Up to the flank there. Catman a big leap, and out the drop. Daniels puts it inside forward 50 out in front of Darcy Jones, tracks it to the pocket, left it behind. Johnston competes with him and eventually sees it out of bounds for a throw-in at the scoreboard end alongside the left behind post. 38 points is the Giants' lead, 27 gone, final term. As your Saturday afternoon comes to an ABC Sport Hawthorn Collingwood up next at the MCG. It's the Cats and the Dogs, as well as Port, Richmond and Adelaide later on.
Daniels looking to shark it off the ruck contest and then wraps up Sexton. Yeah, he's just such an impressive player, Brent Daniels, isn't he? I mean, he does not get enough attention around the competition for what he does for this Giants side. Looking for it again off this ruck contest. Weller squeezes it away. That's been one of the positives for Gold Coast. Lockie Weller's game in his first game back from a knee injury as Fonte gathers it. It was wide to Lockie Ash, and he spots up Xavier O'Halloran at right half forward.
If you're listening through local radio, ACT and Gold Coast, you'll head back to rugby league coverage shortly. That's South Sydney and West Tigers in Gosford, 24-22 the scoreline there. Back here at the AFL, O'Halloran thumps it long inside 50. Hogan down there in the hole, but it goes over him and through for a minor score. 39 points now the Giants lead.
David Swallow has it. Side defensive 50. Time ticking down. The Showground Stadium wide to Flanders. Possession number 42 for him. Such a solid accumulator. Holman fails to mark it. Buckley sees it over. Adam Kingsley is on the bench, still barking orders, but he'd be a very satisfied man. There are a few questions asked of this Giants side a month ago. Just whether they dropped off, whether maybe it had all gone to their head a little bit. All the adulation they'd received. 3 wins in a row tells you they're still firmly set on challenging for this flag.
Callahan slips a tackle, but cops up the footy here. Flanders goes inside 50 for his now 43rd disposal, so he's now career best. Finds King in the pocket at right half forward. Jack Buckley copped a bit of untoward contact to a not so pleasant area, and he's just really in all kinds of pain there. Jack Buckley in the dying seconds. Ben King, it's not been his day.
Likely to kick this one then.
King lines it up here. It's coming back from the left, and it's no score. And well, Damien Hardwick said his team needed to grow up in reference to his side's efforts on the road. But it's the Giants who go up into the top 4. They win by 39 points.
Big sound from the west of the town. It's the sound of the mighty Giants. Feel the ground is shaking. The other teams are quaking in their boots before the Giants. We take the longest strides and the highest leap. We're stronger than the rest. We're the greater Western Sydney Giants. We're the biggest and the best. And we will never surrender. We'll fight until the end. We're greater than the rest.
For the winners, Jesse Hogan kicked 4. 2 goals for Toby Green and Brent Daniels in his 100th game. Singles to Darcy Jones, Aaron Cadman, Jake Riccardi, Harvey Thomas, Toby McMullen and Harry Perryman. Meanwhile for the Gold Coast Suns, 2 goals for Jack Lukosius. In the end, singles to Lockie Weller, Ben Long, Bailey Humphrey and Alex Sexton. They're 6 goal kickers, or 6 goals across this game. The Giants by 39 points in the end.
Well, there's a big, big sound from the west of the town. It's the sound of the mighty Giants. Feel the ground is shaking. The other teams are quaking in their boots before the Giants. Take the longest strides and the highest leap. We're stronger than the rest. We're the greater Western Sydney Giants. We're the biggest and the best. And we will never surrender. We'll fight until the end. We're greater than the rest.
The Giants led by 14 points at quarter time, by 16 at half time, 28 points at the final change. In the end, 39-point winners, which for right now is good enough for 3rd spot on the AFL ladder. What a surge they've had now. 3 wins in a row, up into 3rd. Meanwhile, quickly at Docklands, full-time there, St Kilda have beaten West Coast by 72 points. That's 17-11-113 to 6-5-41. The full-time score here, 14-5-89, the Giants over the Gold Coast Suns. The wayward Gold Coast Suns, 6-14-50. Your experts to give us their final impressions on what took place across these 4 quarters. Former Swan and Blue, Jason Saddington. Former Eagle and Swan, Callum Sinclair.
Yeah, I think it's a bit frustrating for Fura. Gold Coast Suns supporter, they're just not ready, unfortunately. I thought today probably could have been their day to pinch this one, particularly with Canelio out, Kelly, Taylor's obviously injured as well. So they've got some good players to come back to Giants, but unfortunately I think Damien Hardwick's comments last week were correct. There just appears to be a little bit of a lack of maturity. It probably started from the first quarter. I'd be kind of interested to get your thoughts, but they just had full reign of that corridor the entire first quarter, and Daniels and those small forwards really propelled Giants into the game. And there were some moments in the middle part of the game today where you thought the Suns were quite competitive, but I think for the large part, Sato, and I hope you agree, that just felt like that the Giants were a lot more in control, took their opportunities in front of goal, and both of you and I played forward over our careers, and everyone has their yips, but I think Ben King, it's probably going to be a tough flight for him going back to the Gold Coast this evening. As Garb said, you don't like pointing the finger, but you just feel if he probably put a couple of those through the big sticks, it might have got a little bit more momentum into the team, a little bit more energy from his midfield, a lot more confidence across the group, but they just needed him to just put it through the big sticks, unfortunately.
And that was the difference, I think, between the two teams. The Giants they took their opportunities better, didn't they? Certainly from second, third, last quarter onwards. Gold Coast, I think they still won the inside 50s, 66-47 Gold Coast. So they had plenty of ball inside 50, but they were just very wasteful. Either when they went in, drop of the ball, Giants were easily being able to get it out, or they were just wasteful with their shots on goal. They're out, plenty of kicks out in the full, plenty of behinds. They just didn't take their chances, where the Giants did. 14-5, they were a bit more clinical in the front half.
Who's doing votes? We haven't ascertained this quite yet. We'll have a very lightning quick wrap-up in the next sort of 7 or 8 minutes. So be on notice. Otherwise, if you've got them now, I'm happy for you to go ahead and give them.
We can go now if you want quickly. It's tough. There was no great standout players. I think it's a possession-based game for me. One vote I'm going to give to Tom Green. He was just able to win plenty of footy, and certainly early in that third quarter he won a ton. 34 possessions for Tom Green. 2 votes, Sam Flanders, 43 touches for the Suns. He just continued to win the footy for him in the midfield. And Lockie Whitfield, 3 votes across half-back. There was plenty of ball going down there, but he continued to win at Rappel. 40 possessions for him, 780 metres gained, 10 marks. Lockie Whitfield, the 3 votes.
So 3 Whitfield, 2 Flanders, and 1 to Tom Green, the ABC Footballer of the Year, as voted by Jason Saddington. The Giants will make their way into the rooms shortly, where Poppy Penny is waiting for them. We hope to have a chat to Jesse Hogan before we're off at the bottom of the clock. As I mentioned, if you're listening through local radio, ACT and Gold Coast, you're off to the Rugby League, where it's now West Tigers 26, South Sydney 24, midway through the second half there in Gosford. Otherwise, on News Radio throughout New South Wales, you'll be heading back to regular programs. The AFL, of course, continues. You can hear a full call of every game. Of course, the best place for that is on the ABC Listen app. Hawthorn, Collingwood up next at the MCG. Later on, Geelong and the Bulldogs at the Cattery. Port Adelaide v Richmond at Adelaide Oval. That's all still to come on your Saturday in round 19. And earlier, or in the game happening at the same time as this one, at Docklands, St Kilda beat West Coast by 72 points. But the Giants, Callum Sinclair, made a statement. 11 wins now, so 11 wins is not quite safe for finals in modern footy, but given the extra footy and all the rest of it. But it's 3 wins in a row and up into the top 4, where Toby Green has said all along he knows they can compete with those teams. There'll be a few teams looking over their shoulder wondering about what's going to come from the Greater Western Sydney Giants in the next few weeks.
I certainly agree, and I'll echo probably Garbs' point. You probably just wouldn't want to play the Giants kind of going into September. They've got that unpredictability about them, and the reality is they can actually compete. I think we watched them with the Swans, even though the scoreboard might not have told the story, but they probably just let themselves down in about a 10-minute patch during that game. But they've got some players to kind of come back in. They're pretty well balanced. Their defence is great. Jesse Hogan and Riccardi have got a nice little combination up there. Their small forwards in Jones and Daniels, very, very dynamic. Daniels is terrific.
Giants are heading in now. Poppy, down to you.
Yeah, they're just coming into the rooms now. There's a massive group of family and friends here, lots of kids and that sort of thing here in the rooms as well. Toby Green is gathering them in a circle. There's a bit of a whistle going on. There's plenty of people here. I don't know if I've seen the rooms this packed for quite a long time. They're just huddling up now. Everybody getting ready to sing at the big, big sound. Pretty stoked with that win down here. Everyone is really, really pumped about it. Just waiting for Harry Himmelberg to join the circle.
He was late into down the race, Harry Himmelberg. Sounds like he's there now. So there you go. The Giants winners here by 39 points. Hopefully some reaction from the winners' rooms in just a matter of moments. We're off in about 3.5 minutes' time. The Giants next up are away to Melbourne at the MCG Saturday night. Then they've got Hawthorn at Manuka, Brisbane, Freo and the Bulldogs, while the Suns have got the Q Clash next week at Carrara against the Brisbane Lions. Then West Coast away, you mentioned that, Garby. Essendon also away, Melbourne at home, Richmond away. That is the run home for the Gold Coast Suns, who are now 9-9. And Damien Hardwick's first year in charge. Poppy, back down to you in the rooms.
Hogan and Jesse, you kicked 4 goals today in pretty windy conditions. How did you go managing those today?
I went out pretty early. I get to the ground pretty early and had a few set shots. And to be fair, if you just kind of kicked it low and flat, it stayed pretty straight. So a lot of it was kind of just kick it and hope it goes straight, to be fair, because the wind here does everything. I mean, once it gets in the stadium, it really swirls around. So it's happy to be accurate today.
Did you find that one end of the ground was worse than the other? One end seemed quite sheltered and the other end, the goalposts were waving around in the breeze.
I mean, it did look like that, but to be honest, the ball was carrying a pretty similar distance either way. It was a really, really strange breeze, a little bit like the MCG when it gets swirly. So, maybe one side was a little bit favoured, but all in all, it was pretty much the same, just swirly everywhere. Really, really difficult conditions.
This win for now puts the Giants in the top 4. What does that mean for you guys in the context of what is a massively close season?
Look, it's one of those 8-point games that some people have been talking about, and today was definitely one of those. The competition's so tight, and to get into the 4, I mean, there's a lot of rounds to go. A lot of teams have played this round, so we'll see where we land, but we're not really looking too much into that stuff. I mean, it's all in the process. It's all about going week to week and not thinking too far ahead, to be honest.
Personally for you, this has been an enormous season. You're sitting right at the top of the Coleman medal race. Do you give much thought to that?
Not really, to be honest. I mean, I see it because it's there, but it's not really something I focus on too much. I mean, it's nice to be around the mark with some of the superstars of the competition, but it's not really something I put too much time into.
Very quickly upstairs to Brett Sprigg, Daniel Garb, Jason Saddington and Cal Sinclair.
Okay, Jesse, congratulations on a terrific game, mate. I thought you were fantastic. More importantly, how's your golf game going? I have seen you on Instagram washing your clubs there in your Giants shorts, mate. How's the handicap?
Yeah, that was the missus on TikTok, actually, and I don't have TikTok, so she thought she could do it on the sneaky, but the boys all showed me. But no, I actually spent about probably 1,500 on lessons before our buy for a little golf day, and I would have shot 120, and then I haven't picked up a golf club since. So
money well spent.
That's how good my golf game's going at the moment.
Just quickly, back at the MCG against your first club, Jesse, the D's at the MCG next week. It's always a big occasion at the G, isn't it, for you guys?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we don't get to play there very often, so when we do, we really like to make an occasion of it. So, in the D's, they're obviously one of the best sides of the last kind of 5 years, so it'll be a really good challenge. And we'll review our game. We haven't really thought too much ahead, but the boys will be really excited to get back on the G and hopefully get another 4 points.
Time's beating us all off here, Jesse. Thanks for your time.
No worries. Thanks, guys. Jesse
Hogan, now with 49 goals on the year here for the Giants. And if you're listening, by the way, through News Radio, through New South Wales and the ACT, you will head right now back to local programs, where here the Giants have beaten the Gold Coast Suns by 39 points. Meanwhile, thank you, Sado. Thank you, Cal. Daniel Garb, thank you to to our tech, Tegan Nichols, Poppy Penny in the rooms, and to you for listening as well. Big day's footy still coming up here. The winners so far, St Kilda over West Coast and the Giants over the Gold Coast Suns. If you are listening through local radio, and by the way, thanks to Mitch Turner in the studio as well for keeping us across all of this. Through local radio, ACT and Gold Coast, you're off to the Rugby League, where it's South Sydney 30, the West Tigers 28 in Gosford.